not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show live on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. As always, we are presented by the Advocates. We're going to start calling the show Peaky Blinders now because we just, Jake just blinks all the time.
Yes.
We got to wait. Let's talk about the internet for a minute, because I think the fact that Calamoni is starting off 2026 by donating 10 Monty Show memberships. Very good. Calamoni, good to see you. Look at that. Maury Alvarez, a member for 36 months. You won't be able to keep up. Wrong choice, Utah. Hashtag listen, my friend.
This whole thing.
It's probably too early for the voice, but hashtag wrong choice, Utah. Hey, Phil Benzer. Good morning, Phil. Hope you are well. Look at all the banners rolling in today. Love that. Then there's the real Pete Forte.
Not the fake Forte, the real Pete Forte.
And Pete is a poser, but remember when we were kids and being a poser? You're such a poser, bro.
Yeah, it used to be like a huge insult.
Jake's a poser.
Yeah.
You guys remember that? Pete, good to see you. Appreciate you supporting the show. Happy 21 times a month for 2026, fellas. Absolutely. That's no nightmare. Eat a beaver, save a tree, hit the like button. I mean, do you see what you get? You get solid life advice on the show. Angry Phil, who gets up at 5 a.m. Not me. I get up at 3:45 every day.
Bruh.
Mom, we got to go back to mornings, Monty. Numbers don't lie. Yeah, apparently they do. Matt Ritson, you the dude. What's up? Good to see you. 5 a.m. sucks, dudes. Well,
that's not what I would say, Maury. But
this has always been my preferred schedule. I am somebody who likes getting up early. I am somebody who likes grinding my face off. So, BYU been creeping up and pulling ahead of Utah for years. Now with Wick on BYU, will Usain Bolt on Utah? Okay. TCU James.
Oh, good morning. There he is. Hello. Hi.
Is that James officially now that?
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
There it is. TCU James, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Joey Harper. Can the Seahawks do it? Back and better than ever. Chad Carter. See, you guys make this show, and that's why I'm kind of doing a roll call this morning. I really appreciate all of you that are here. Even if you're not a morning person, you're going to complain about mornings every day.
Well, I mean, now that he can't, lie to us and say that he was charting instead of getting on his fake Dana Burner account, he's got to say something else now. So,
Bro, you are blinking so hard today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the internet real quick, because you guys know I like to complain. Which my New Year resolution, the one thing I have sworn to change this year is I'm not going to complain. That's already out there. My wife and I are on the plane back from, we're going from Zurich, Switzerland to Paris. And we're talking about our lives and, and we're working through it. And I said, the one thing I want to change is I don't want to complain so much. That's out the window. I call the internet company. Yesterday was a terrible internet day. I don't know what's happening. I am with a smaller firm here in Seattle that gives incredible speed, right? And so I call them. They don't call me back. I get one email from a dude. I'm going to call you and let you know. Nobody ever called me back. And it's like today, my speed is stupid fast. Like I'm getting 1,000 up and down. Speed really fast. But do you understand how reliant we are on two things? The internet and Amazon.com. That's the truth. We are so wholly reliant on the internet and on Amazon.com. If those two things cease to exist today, we're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. And even though we're going to have Venezuelan oil for the rest of our lives, that will not save us.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Leave the...
Right.
The point is, we are so reliant on the internet. We are so reliant on Amazon. It's wild to me. I was thinking about it yesterday, and you know what made me think? I was so upset that my internet wasn't working well. I had 200 up and down, and that's not good enough. I'm spoiled. First world problems on line one, Monty. Right? Like first world problems. But I just realized this when I was eating a protein bar yesterday, and I was, look at you. What are you phasing in and out of? What is going on over there in Casa de Beaver?
Camera focused on the ball, apparently. I don't know.
Okay. But the point is, I noticed this while eating a protein bar that I get on Amazon, and I refuse to buy it. I'm not doing it. I buy so much stuff on Amazon.
So the point is that the internet's not working great.
Yes, thank you. Jake's like, stay focused, fat ass. I'm trying. You know. Don't give me wrong. I'm a morning person, but once we roll up to 8:30 Eastern, I have to bounce. So I like 30 minutes of the show and I catch up after, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
Speed is one thing, latency is another.
Yeah, I don't. So the point is I don't know. Like we have great speed, we have great equipment. The network is allegedly stable. But you know, I don't know. It's my opinion is it's a browser function issue. I think that we're doing everything that we can possibly do, and Google Chrome is Google Chroming. That's my opinion, because it's an inconsistent issue. It has happened many times over the course of our, you know, however many years we've been on YouTube using StreamYards. It's happened a million different times, and then sometimes it works great. Sometimes we don't have any issues. Looks great, sounds great. Looks the way it should look. Yeah, never blinks, no issues. So, you know, it's really just a matter of you know, dealing with it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what else we can do.
Usually our show looks better than, you know, Dallin Levitt's brother courtside with Lane Kiffin. You know, what? Bailey Dietrich is claiming that John Harbaugh got fired last night?
Dude, what?
Are you serious?
What?
What is... I did not.
You didn't see that, bro?
This can't be true. This cannot be true that John Harbaugh got fired by the Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, just wow.
You take you a deuce. You don't sit there and look at it.
Wow.
You flush it and move on.
And I think the real question, and we've talked about this, and we'll get back to this, but I want to give Jake his flowers because he never gives me credit for anything. Right? All the things that I usually get right on this show. You know, outside of the rhythm method about 32 years ago, but most things I get right on this show.
Rhythm method.
Jake said, I think in October, that John Harbaugh was going to get fired. You straight up called that. I think Lamar Jackson got John Harbaugh fired.
Yeah, because the reporting is that the beef was John Harbaugh didn't want to let Todd Monken go, his OC, and that the Ravens wanted Monken gone, and that you know that they wanted a new OC and they didn't want to fire John, but John refused. So, you know, I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, we'll get back to that because I do think it's a huge story. I think the fact that Mike McCarthy is a leading candidate in 4 of the, 7 open jobs is a big deal. But let's start with a couple of the big stories in college football because. Jake, what do you think? Is this Kyle Whittingham, Morgan Scalley controversy at Utah bigger than Damon Williams versus Washington?
I mean, I think that, the Damon Williams thing is definitely obviously the newer thing, but at the same time, like, I just think both of these issues speak to a bigger dynamic at play. Kyle Whittingham, as we'll get into today, obviously now the head coach at Michigan, and there are a lot of varying stories as to how that went down and who's to blame and who pushed who out and what all had happened. But what we know that's being reported about Damon Williams is that he allegedly has a legally binding agreement with Washington to be their starting quarterback in 26, and obviously now put out his message about getting in the portal. So
yeah,
and what's really difficult is that this puts the Big Ten in a precarious situation from a conference perspective, because they obviously in the other issue had supported Wisconsin. And so it's like, well, where is Damon trying to go? That's the question. Everyone thinks it's LSU, but
the
truth
ties
is
to Damon and LSU are many.
Are deep. There's no question, and it would make sense.
To Lane Kiffin and Damon Williams are. I mean, Damon was supposedly going to Ole Miss before he committed to Arizona, and then decommitted, and then went to what? And now he's not at Washington, and he's going to LSU. And Noah Fafita is in the transfer portal and going to Washington. He was spotted on campus up here at UW yesterday. And then I'm a little confused. It's hard for me to track all these young men moving around the country, which is why I'm being sarcastic. But my point is this Damon Williams' fault? Is this everybody's blaming Lane Kiffin for this? Which I don't think this is Lane Kiffin's fault. You don't got to like the player, but hate the game, not the player, right? I mean, this is the business that they're in. I think what this is the dysfunction and the unintended consequences of giving kids complete freedom to move about as they choose.
Well, and that's the core issue here is does Damon actually have complete freedom, or is there a legally binding agreement? Because the other dynamic is that he has a do not contact tag on him in the portal, which suggests that he already obviously knows where he's going in the portal is just the mechanism, obviously. So I think that what's the bigger issue? Clearly, Damon Williams is being seen in a much more negative light, and it doesn't help that there was a team event going on for someone who had passed away when all this came out. That makes it look even worse. So I just think the way it was handled, I think, is really poor and is making the situation worse. But I do think that this Kyle Whittingham situation, seemingly as the days go by, the speculation grows about how Utah had handled it, and this narrative about boosters and Utah administration, and all I have to say is that regardless of what had happened, if you fall to the middle of the table in the Big 12 after letting him go or pushing him out or whatever the hell happened, that's going to look really bad. That's going to be a really bad look for you guys.
But I think this story about alleged booster interference in the Utah coaching carousel decision, move on, don't thing. If you didn't hear the story, Morgan Scalley, who has been under contract as the coach in waiting for years, his grandmother is married to a gentleman, or was married to a gentleman named Garf. Was married to Ken Garf of the Garf Auto Group, which is a massive automotive group in Utah. And they also happen to spend a lot of money on Utah athletics. And there are allegations reporting that the Garf Group threatened to withhold their commitment financially, which is what they're called now, not their payments. It's financial commitments from the boosters, that the Garf Group allegedly threatened to withhold their money if Kyle Whittingham continued as the head coach at Utah. Is that true? Is that accurate? I'm not willing to say that that's true and accurate. I have talked to a lot of people at Utah. And nobody on the Utah administration or athletic administration forced Kyle Whittingham to quit that job. I firmly believe that. I've been told that by multiple sources. I think Kyle Whittingham erred in his messaging, is how I will say it. He talked about retirement too often. He talked about what was next too often. He opened the door. He made it an expectation. So what have we been talking about for the last 2 years and probably the last 5 years? Oh, is this a year? Is Whit going to retire? Is Whit going to retire? Is Whit going to retire? And then you start reading between the lines now on Kyle Whittingham in these interviews he's doing. And you listen to this bite. What was this from the Dan Patrick show, I guess?
Rich Eisen.
I said Dan Patrick. Rich Eisen.
Yeah.
You listen to Kyle Whittingham on the Rich Eisen show. And did he just say that he was negotiating with Michigan, which is why he resigned from Utah?
Were you reaching out to Michigan at that point?
You know what? I don't know what the first contact was through my agent. And so
Sure.
It was shortly thereafter when I stepped down that he said, "Hey, do you have interest in Michigan?" And I said, "Who wouldn't? I mean, it's the top 5 job in the country." And really, you can count on one hand the number of schools that I would have been interested in, because I was not completely bent and determined that, hey, I got to keep coaching. But for the right situation, I was more than willing to listen. And this is absolutely the right situation here.
Why do you think? Why is it a right situation?
Michigan. It's Michigan. Like I said, a top 5 job, excellent athletes, phenomenal tradition, resources. You got it all here.
Did he just say that his agent was talking to Michigan before he resigned at Utah?
Yeah.
I think that's what he said. I'm pretty certain that's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a clear effort to be non-committal around when they started talking by saying, hey, I don't know when first contact was, but it was through my agent. Where have we heard this before, right? We've heard that a million times out of many different coaches talking about, Lane said it, Kalen DeBoer said it, Kenny said it. Like, there's a lot of guys using that line. Hell, I think even Alex Golish said it. So I just think that there's this game that goes on, and this is the double standard to bring back in the Damon Williams thing that I don't really love about college football right now, which is, hey, well, we don't really care if Whit was working behind the scenes. Like, because my opinion is, again, I'm not reporting this as facts, but my opinion is that right after Cam Rising got hurt in the Rose Bowl in 23 and they lost that game because they were firmly on their way to beating Ohio State, and everyone pretty much agrees on that. And then he gets hurt, and it just ends the game for them. They can't operate. They don't. And again, that's on them. You got to have more depth, whatever. But that's just what happened. And so since then, Whit hasn't really had had a roster or anything that's enabling him to get to a national championship game. Does he have the ability to get to the CFP? Sure. But a national championship, that's a different level. And so I maintain that since then, he's behind the scenes and in private been looking for opportunities. And so the Jim Harbaugh thing goes down, then Sharon Moore's named coach. Then it was pretty clear.
Butter Knives.
Yeah, Butter Knives was named head coach and then went full Butter Knives on Homegirl and got fired. And we get the infamous, courtroom photo. So I think that Whit saw an opportunity. I would not be surprised if boosters at Utah got impatient, because we live there. We know how people are in the state of Utah. They are impatient. If they spend money, they want results ASAP, even if that's unrealistic. And I do think the Cam Rising situation being dragged out so long probably didn't help things. I think there was probably frustration there. So
that's where I agree with you. I think this all started with and I will call it the debacle of Cam Rising. Because Utah was far too loyal to him. But listen, I think the struggle is now we are questioning people's credibility. We are questioning people's ethics. We are questioning guys like Kyle Whittingham. Did Kyle Whittingham have a Michigan offer before he quit Utah? That's probably strong, but boy, it certainly does feel like, based on what Whit said, it certainly does feel like Kyle Whittingham was in conversations with Michigan before he left Utah. That's what it feels like.
Well, and it's
That's
hard to escape the concept of, even if there wasn't a papered out deal, that there were conversations happening, that Kyle Whittingham, you know, because again, the season wasn't over when the Sharon stuff started to go down, right? The Sharon stuff was cooking, you know, in mid to late November, and they were still playing games at that point, you know.
That was the Sharon Moore stuff was happening in October. And I think it is, I the whole thing sucks, but this is the world we created. I cannot continue to try and justify or spin, or this is the world everybody wanted. This is what you asked for, and now you have it, and now you're unhappy with it. Then don't ask for it. Don't ask for it, right? Like, I look at this Kyle Whittingham situation. He deserves better than this. But what does that mean? What is the value? There is no value or meaning in what he deserves. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he deserves. This is the world we live in now. And I think the bigger issue here, if you're a Utah fan, is I think this really hurts Morgan Scalley. This really hurts Morgan Scalley. And I think it is one of these things where now this is going to hang over Morgan Scalley. If Morgan Scalley has a 4 or 5 loss season, he is on the clock. The seat's getting hot. And you listen to him. He did an incredibly awkward interview with Holly Rowe yesterday that, frankly, it's Holly Rowe, so of course it's awkward. But he's talking about being an individual. This is all well and good because it's January. You're not going to be able to say this if you're losing games in September and October.
I have to be me as much as and there are so many things from Kyle's tenure that I will never change. But I'm different than Kyle, and I have to be me with my personality, and there's things that will change. But having said that, there's a reason this place has been successful.
What is it? That's all great spin. And of course, there was no follow up. But like you listen to Morgan Scalley talk about this gig. He does not inspire me.
Well, Morgan's only been at Utah. He hasn't experienced anything else. And I say, no, that's not right. You know, I've been all over the country. You know, I've sat next to Nick Saban as he asked me about Mike Leach and how we defended Mike Leach when Mike was coming from the Pac-12 to the SEC at Mississippi State. I've sat with Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning when they were at Georgia. We've had Brent Venables come to us. You know, I'm always on the hunt for better ways to do things and improve. And I don't think you have to go, you know, spend a year someplace else to figure out that what you're doing is good or bad. As long as you're a great student and you're always finding ways to learn, I don't think you have to leave. I know you don't have to leave. And now I can sit in a parent's home and I can sit in front of recruits and say, I'm not going anywhere, and they can believe it.
Which I just don't necessarily believe. You better win games. You better win games. And I like Morgan Scalley a lot. I've talked about this on the show. I'm a big Morgan Scalley believer. I am somebody that thinks that Utah is in very good hands. He is, a lot of people want to credit Witt with the defense at Utah. Totally get it. But Morgan Scalley is the architect of Witt's defense. And I just think we've done here at Utah is set Morgan Scalley up to fail. And I will continue to say, whether it's Kalen DeBoer going to the playoff this year and everybody thinking he's going to this job and that job, and it's never good enough anymore. And when you replace a guy like Nick Saban or you replace a guy like Kyle Whittingham, because that's what this is akin to at Utah. Kyle Whittingham is the single greatest coach Utah has ever had and one of the greatest coaches of his era and his generation. It's already a difficult job. But then you put this nonsense with the Garf allegations and the boosters. Why?
Well, because the reason that comes up is because the guy you're replacing a legend like Kyle Whittingham with is unproven and has only ever been a coordinator. right? If you were replacing Kyle Whittingham with, a top 10 head coach in college football, nobody would give a damn why you moved on from him. You'd be talking about like who the quarterback's going to be, what this looks like, what that looks like. And that's my opinion as to why this is such a problem and why it's such a big deal. And people in Utah, I'm sure, will say, oh, well, Morgan's got all this experience. He's been the coach in waiting.
Yeah.
He's Witt's guy. Like, he's super capable. But the truth is, man, is he's the definition of unknown. He's the very definition of, hey, we like this guy. This guy's been here. He's happy to say he's been here. He's doing all that.
He met with Brett Venables and Nick Saban and
so he's trying to
say all that.
Yeah, he's trying to rest on hey, like, I've been around the block. And again, I don't deny any of this. I don't even dispute the fact the guy's been in college football his whole life, man. I mean, they went out of their way in that interview, earlier in the interview, to talk about the fact that when he was a youngster, he was the guy talking about, I'll do anything just to be part of the program. So he was the Boy Scout. He was the, hey, I'll do anything.
Why are they doing that?
Because they're trying to sell.
Why is Holly Rowe the one interviewing Morgan Scalley?
Because Holly Rowe is familiar to Utah fans.
But you don't want follow-up questions.
No.
You want a softball interview.
I thought it was eerily reminiscent of the Teresa Gould interview. It felt the same. Yeah. It looked the same. It had the same vibe. Male figure, talking to a female figure. Like, it was the same look and vibe of the whole thing. And again, I don't expect them to put the guy through an interrogation style interview, but I do think that there never was like the dip your toe into the water, see what he does when you ask him, hey, like, what did that look like? Whit moving on, like, when did you know? Like, what was, how did that play out? Like, she was never going to ask him that.
They're trying to sell him.
Yeah.
They are wrapping the gift. They're putting the bow on it, like perfectly creased corners. They're trying to sell Morgan Scalley to Utah fans. And I understand that. The bottom line is there was no need to do this interview unless you felt like you had a need and you needed to message. And that's all this was. And I go back to this idea that we're only seeing all this fluff and all this nonsense from Utah and Morgan Scalley because they understand there's a stench around how Kyle Whittingham left the program. That's why we get a Holly Rowe interview.
Yeah.
That's why we don't get a a critical interviewer asking follow-up questions, because that's not what Utah wants.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't doubt that Morgan Scalley can do this job at a very high level. I think Utah's in great hands. I think Michigan's in great hands. This was not handled well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have, I guess, I don't have confidence that they're in great hands, personally. I think that there's a lot of risk here. I think that he could run a defense, and I think their defense will be very good. I do. But I think that the offense and what people don't want to talk about is the special teams. Kyle Whittingham typically had elite special teams that made a huge impact in most of the games that he was coaching, outside of the last 2 years. I mean, you've got guys running kicks back. You've got Australian punters punting for you. Like, you've got all kinds of stuff happening on special teams that put points on the board and made a difference. And so,
yes,
offense and special teams to me are the two areas that are going to be weaker, in my opinion.
But Jake, whoa. What is Morgan Scalley got to prove here?
That he can win a ball game.
That he can get a quarterback and position players that are at skill position players that are elite, because Kyle Whittingham never had that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is here to question whether or not Morgan Scalley can coach up a defense scheme-wise. Bro, homeboy knows defense.
Yeah.
Who is he going to get to be his quarterback, his running backs, his wide receivers? How does he recruit?
And he talked all about that. He's got high school relationships in Houston, and that he knows these guys, and it's important to his high school contacts that he shows up there. And so he sold the hell out of the fact that he can recruit. But I think that the title of today's show works directly into this point, which is BYU is pulling away from you, right? BYU handled their head coaching situation better than you handled Witt.
Yeah.
And BYU outclassed you with handling quarterback issues. Because again, I want to be really fair to both sides, right? They both had quarterback issues. The Cam Rising situation decimated what Witt had going. There's no question about it. Isaac Wilson never panned out. You're not that guy, pal. Try another program, right? So I just look at this and I say, dude, like Retzloff got bounced from the program for what he did, and they had a next man up mentality, and they made it work to a point where they almost got to the CFP. Most people think they should have been in the CFP, which you can't say about Utah. So
they overcame that to a point where they had a real argument that they should have been in the CFP, even after Manischewitz left the program.
Yeah. So
right?
I mean, and then you look at what's going on in basketball for both of these teams, and it's like, yeah, dude, like I'm not a BYU fan, never have been, never will be, never going to claim to be. But there's no question that BYU is in a better place.
So you're
I know, yeah. This is a red show. BYU
Utah man, you are.
Yeah, Utah man, I am. Morgan Scalley is the best decent slice
Utah
coaches.
Man, am I?
Yeah, whatever it is, dude. Like, bro, I think that yes, give the guy a chance. Let's see what he can do. But am I confident? Absolutely not. Am I excited? No, I'm not. I think that
you're not
Utah,
excited.
No, I am not excited. I think that
dude, you're crazy.
Dude, well, call me crazy, dude, but I'm not going to be the one who's being called crazy when he doesn't have depth on offense, when the injuries bug comes for him. All the excuses are going to get rolled out, and I'm getting in front of it right now because you are not Kyle Whittingham. And I think every time what happens is dudes who are legends in this game, he hasn't won natties, but he is a legend in the coaching game, and I think everyone puts that respect on his name. You don't move on from a guy like that and then have an 8-win season and think that that's good enough. 10 wins or not, like that's just the expectation.
Yeah, the bar is 10 wins. The bar, but I'm excited about Morgan Scalley. I'm excited to see him build and round out his staff. I'm excited to see him build and round out a portal and a recruiting class.
Who has a better first year, Morgan Scalley or Matt Campbell? Because they're doing the same thing. Matt Campbell's replacing James Franklin, a guy who didn't win the CFP.
Matt Campbell, who's the head coach of Iowa State football players, who will be wearing Penn State uniforms. But that's not really the point. Matt Campbell has exponentially more resources. That is, I don't even.
But he's had to have guys come through the portal to Penn State. I mean, it's
fair is it is what it is, and I only half kiddingly say that he's still the head coach of Iowa State football players because, well, they're all at Penn State.
So this is my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's had to do more.
But what did you hear Kyle Whittingham say? Top 5 job in the country. All the resources you could need. They don't have that in Utah. And I think that's what's made Kyle Whittingham special. That's what's made Kyle Whittingham one of the greatest coaches in the country because he's done so much more with so much less. And then again, you have all these fans turning on Kyle and talking about how he's a heel and a traitor and a liar. Shut up. This guy has done more for Utah football than anyone else in the history of Utah football.
Yeah.
And if we're asking who's going to be more successful in year one, Matt Campbell at Penn State. Well, Matt Campbell at Penn State, he's got a much easier road. I think the Big 12 is far more competitive than the Big 10. And I think when you look at it just in his own state, Morgan Scalley's not nearly the best program in his own state. That's BYU. Because I think this point is incredibly important. Isaiah Glasker's coming back. That defense is going to remain elite. And I love Jay Hill, but my opinion is Kalani Sitake is doing all the right things to help put a defense and a coordinator in place to succeed at a very high level next year. BYU's the dominant program in the state of Utah. They're recruiting at historic levels. They're spending at historic levels. They're winning at historic levels. This isn't even a conversation. And if Kyle Whittingham had stayed at Utah, I'd be saying the exact same thing. Morgan Scalley has to step up and spend significantly more money and get significantly better offensive players. Matt Campbell's going to have a much better year because the road's paved. That guy, that in my opinion, Kyle Whittingham is going to have a better year at Michigan. Because how can you not turn that program around? Kyle Whittingham's going to win 10 games next year. Just the fact that he's got Beck and Underwood working together on January 7th, that offense is going to be significantly better. Bryce Underwood's going to be a significantly better quarterback next year.
Yeah.
Right? And I think once Jabba the Manual gets whacked at Michigan, they're going to be in a much better spot. Right? Kyle Whittingham is everything that Michigan needed. Matt Campbell, frankly, is everything that Penn State needed. I think Matt Campbell is an idyllic fit at Penn State.
Yeah.
But Morgan Scalley is everything that Utah needed. That's why I'm questioning why the sales job. Why the sales pitch?
Because
why are we...
Yeah, you know. I mean, my opinion is that like, I disagree with that. I don't think he's everything that they need. He's unproven. He's like, everyone just thinks because he's been around, that means he's going to be a great head coach. Like, how many times both at the pro ranks and the college level, have we seen guys who are A1 coordinators, best of the best as a coordinator, can't be a head coach, right? Like, we've seen that time and time again. And I feel like he has that written all over him. And he may prove me wrong. Maybe he's a 10-game winner. Maybe he goes to CFP.
That's fucking harsh. Excuse me. That's fucking harsh. Like, I think Morgan has all the tools. Morgan has the aptitude, the mentality.
What's he done?
Well, he's recruited very well, which is a big part of this game. I think the portal goes to another level because I think Morgan, and I'm very reticent to do this because I think this is where we have to criticize Kyle Whittingham. What is Morgan Scalley? Let's do that. Morgan Scalley is young. He's energetic. He's a proven defensive guru. He is a proven defensive recruiter. He is a guy that has brought big dudes in through the portal. I think Morgan Scalley is everything that young people want. They want to go to the NFL. Morgan Scalley can put you there. Can he do that on offense? Well, we're going to find out. On defense, he's going to put dudes in the NFL. I just think Morgan's got a much tougher job than Matt Campbell or Kyle Whittingham. So, Pervin Liar clears his throat. Okay. Bailey Dietrich, I agree, Jake. It's hard to replace a legend. Yeah. Penn State has an easy, but this is my point. And I look at when you compare the Big Ten to the Big 12, there's not a lot of hard schedules in the Big Ten. It's far less competitive. And I think when you start to look at the way that and Penn State's not the only one. Indiana certainly is guilty of this. And I think Indiana, and I am sure a Big Ten fan is going to wet themselves when I say Indiana hasn't played anybody under Kurt Cignetti. Have they won? Yeah, they beat Oregon. But what did I say about Oregon yesterday? I don't think Oregon's elite. They have, in my opinion, the best quarterback in college football. But they're not. That's not an elite squad. I think Oregon's a horribly flawed football team.
Still a top 10 team, though.
Sure. I think the regular season is a free pass in the Big Ten. I think it is very difficult to look at, like you look at Penn State's 2026 schedule. I was looking at this last night. Their schedule is Marshall, Temple, Buffalo, Maryland, Michigan, Northwestern, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, USC, Wisconsin, and Washington. Their road games are Washington, Northwestern, Michigan, Maryland, and Temple. Their home games on Epstein Island is Wisconsin, USC, Rutgers, Purdue, Minnesota, Buffalo, and Marshall. Bro, we're scrimmaging until the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Like that's not competitive. And if I go to if I go to Utah, right? If I go to Utah's schedule and you start to understand the structure of the Big 12. Now, who are the best teams in the Big 12? Texas Tech, BYU. The best teams in the conference. Here's Utah's schedule in 2026. Idaho, Arkansas. Arkansas is going to be significantly better. That's an SEC team. Utah State, significant. And now I know, oh, Monty, they're in the Pac-12. Okay, cool. That's a Bronco Mendenhall coach team. That's a rivalry game. Not on par with BYU, but to go Idaho, Arkansas, Utah, and then you're also throwing in BYU, Houston, a 10-win team, Kansas and West Virginia at home. Your road games, TCU, Iowa State, Colorado, Cincinnati, and Arizona. That's a significantly more difficult schedule than what Penn State is going to play. I'm not even sure you can argue that. I don't know that that's arguable.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, obviously, but I think the other side of it, too, that's difficult to stomach is that while, yes, that is a more difficult schedule, both by the numbers and by travel, at the same time, like, those brands don't have, like, a lot of punching power nationally. Like, and this is the Big 12's problem, is that you're talking about Houston and Cincinnati, and, like, you're talking about West Virginia. Like, with all due respect, man, like, I understand that West Virginia's in a transition. They're doing things, but it is what it is. You're not a good team right now, you know,
but not every game's going to be difficult. But not every game's going to be easy unless you're Penn State. Not every game's going to be difficult if you're Utah. There's a big difference when you're. I would much, much, much rather play Penn State's schedule. Penn State plays nobody.
Yeah,
man. I am as convinced. It's the right way to go. I'm not criticizing them, right? You look at Michigan's schedule in 2026. Their home games are Western Michigan, Oklahoma, UTEP, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, Penn State, UCLA. That's a significantly more difficult schedule than Penn State.
Yeah.
Right? At Minnesota, at Oregon, at Ohio State, at Rutgers. That's a significantly more difficult schedule than Penn State. I mean, that is much just by the virtue of having Ohio State on your schedule, right? But you look at Ohio State's schedule. You tell me, is this more difficult?
Ohio State?
Their home games are Ball State, Kent State, Illinois, Maryland, Michigan, Northwestern, and Oregon. Ohio State's road games, September 12th at DKR against Texas, at Indiana, at Iowa, at Nebraska, at USC. That is a significantly more difficult schedule than Penn State. Significantly. And we'll see what Oregon is. Who's their quarterback going to be? Does Dante come back? Does he go to the NFL? He's probably going to the NFL because he's going to be the number one pick if he goes to the NFL. There's a lot of questions, but what do we know about Ohio State's schedule? Michigan's going to be significantly better. Indiana's going to be significantly better because now they have a stud quarterback, and it's Texas at DKR. Those are three really difficult games. Right? Anyway, boys, the Utah schedule is pretty weak next year. It'll be more about when the games are, certainly. But what I'm saying is, in conference, you're significantly more competitive there. If you have 3 or 4 teams, and I'll even say 4 because I heard from all the Houston fans yesterday who lost their minds over what I said about Houston. Houston hasn't arrived under Willie Fritz. They should arrive this year. Okay, great. Texas Tech, BYU, Houston, and Utah. Those 4 teams, significant, right? Who else in this conference are you like, oh my God? Everybody else, while they're not elite, they're very, very good. I think K-State's going to be significantly better on offense next year. If Avery Johnson doesn't succeed now with Colin as his coach and coordinator, I have no idea when he ever will.
Yeah.
But Alpha Buckeye, Big 12 can't win a playoff game, and the Big 10's about to win its third straight national title. No, it's second straight national title. But you say the Big 12 is more competitive. Bro. So let me get this straight. And I just want to understand. You're saying that because Ohio State and Indiana are elite football teams, that the conference is more competitive during the regular season. You're going to make that argument, especially the last 3 years when it's Cupcake City. You're going to make this argument. This is where you're out of your mind. You're out of. What is playoff result have to do with the level of competition conference-wide? What has one got to do with the other? Yeah, that's not at all what I'm saying. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that's the first word time out of the year, by the way.
I think it is, Jeremiah. Thank you. The first year of replacing a legend is always the toughest, and only the strongest survive. I would agree with that. We'll see. LOL, the first word time out of the year. Thanks, Jeremiah. Exactly. Yeah, it makes the conference top heavy. That's the issue is. The issue is Michigan's a bunch of scumbag cheaters who didn't legitimately win a national championship. Ohio State was the single greatest championship run I've ever seen. And I think if Indiana wins it this year, and I don't know how they won't, if we're being honest, I think that the Indiana and Ohio State are singularly elite teams. There is no measure that says the Big Ten is an elite conference. And we've fought tooth and nail on this. Depth is what makes a conference elite. It's why the SEC is the best football conference in the country. Winning a national championship, sure, that's great. And the SEC's done that. And they've done it at a very high level for a prolonged amount of time. But let's not sit here and pretend that, we've asked and answered. We've been down this road 1,000 times. You two back in your basements now. Yeah, we're back in the basement. We never left, actually.
Yeah,
Indiana beat Ohio State, Oregon, and Bama. Not a bad resume. Not a bad resume at all. Great team. Great team. And I take nothing away. At all. Maybe the explanation for the SEC's failure is the bowl CFP is that nobody cares about garden variety bowl games. You guys got to stop with this. I had this argument yesterday with Marcus. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about winning the Pop-Tart Bowl. If I said to you in August, hey, how fired up are you to possibly play in the Pop-Tart Bowl? That's funny. I thought you would all be jumping up and down for joy about the Pinstripe Bowl. Huh. That's really the New Mexico Bowl. Ooh, the Sun Bowl. Man. I don't, here we are in August and we haven't played a game yet.
Stay hard.
I want to cram Pop-Tarts down my throat like it's Dan Lanning and Jake is going to town on it.
Yeah, throat slam some Pop-Tarts.
Nobody cares about playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Cool story, bro. Great trip for the family, bro. Hope you had a good time. Hope you didn't get diabetes from the Pop-Tarts.
Diabetes.
We're not here for Pop-Tarts. And we can all sit here and be mad that Jake won't fix his internet enough to make his screen stop blinking, or we can play for national championships. So this idea that, the SEC has lost the Pop-Tarts, who cares? They lost the Jimmy John's Jerk Me Bowl. Who cares?
The Jimmy John's Jerk Me Bowl?
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. Oh, Notre Dame, what a bunch of sore losers. They're not. They're actually getting ready for the NFL draft. You go ahead. Go play the Fanta Soda is Killing People Bowl. We'll be over here getting ready for the combine. and making sure that next year we don't miss the playoff again. So you do you, Did you say Utah is coming to TCU? That is cool. Utah fans I met in Stillwater. Why were you at an Oak State game? We're really nice people. I always love this about when the state of Utah comes up. Oh, man, Monty.
Oh, Monty. Let me tell you about the Mormons. Bro, I had a flat tire. And they honked and told me, hey, you can't park there, as they drove by. They were so nice.
Having fun is the name of the game.
Turn off. Thank you. It's always so nice when people are like, oh, the Mormons are such nice people. Joey Smith, he built a following, didn't he? Can you imagine if they had TikTok when Joey Smith was around? My God.
My word.
People from Utah are so nice. Have you ever lived there? No, they're not. Try road rage. Welcome to Utah. I am an AJ DeVanzo fan. I have no idea
who's AJ DeVanzo.
I have never heard of that. Never heard of that. I've got an official letter from BYU. Act like you know.
A letter for what?
Okay. Correct. A win versus West Virginia right now is not a notch on the gun belt. Hell, last time I checked, Texas Tech was still scoring on defense. Mike has a little post-Texas Tech syndrome happening. The Jordan Gross hire is kind of sus. Great player, but can he coach? And this is something else at Utah that I think is a really interesting talking point. And with 90 million people watching the show right now, with what? 3,000 people watching the show right now. Does it excite you when your university, and I know that
Oak State James
is going to be really excited to hear that Todd Monken's available.
Brother.
I know that so many people are like, oh, I want somebody with ties to the program, Monty. Jordan Gross is not a great hire.
Program.
You hired Jordan Gross so you could get one of his players. He was a high school coach. Stop with this obsession. I got to have somebody with ties to the program. You don't. Oh, I got to have somebody that, no, you don't. You need to go hire the best guy. Go. Do you know how tough it's going to be to replace Jim Harding at Utah? Do you guys know who Jim Harding is? Essentially second in command under Kyle Whittingham for how many years? One of the best offensive line coaches in the country. How many guys has he put in the NFL on the offensive line at Utah? Probably going to have the number one offensive lineman in the draft this year. You know how hard that guy's going to be to replace? And you're talking, and I love that Utah fans like, oh, you're not replacing Jay Hill, losers. How are you going to replace Jim Harding? Jordan Gross? Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on. The problem with P2 is they do not always play the top teams in their own conference, and they do not have the two best teams playing conference championship game. This is the ACC, Miami, Duke conference champion. How did that happen conversation? Like, how do you screw up who plays in the conference championship game? That's hard to screw up. If we're being honest, That's hard to screw up. Hey, look at that. Calamoni gifts 10 more.
Nice job, dude.
Calamoni, good to see you. You guys changed your coach, man. Kept your quarterback. Marcus says, tell Jake to get his power and his HDMI cables away from each other. Okay.
It's not what it is, bro. I wish it was.
Everybody loves your blinking. Go Gators. Monty lays it out. Haters cry it out. Yeah, well. Mom said Monty lays it out. Is what it is. Listen, we can go around and we can have the arguments about this. I think that Morgan Scalley's got a very difficult job. I think he's got that job that nobody wants. No, that's not true. Utah's a great job.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really difficult job when you look at what Morgan Scalley is going to have to do this year right now. I think that Morgan Scalley is going to have to really focus on the little finite details that made Kyle Whittingham so elite. And that's what we don't know about more. Is Morgan Scalley a finite detail guy? Is Morgan Scalley worried about the tablecloth on the training table at lunch for his Utes just as much as he's worried about the dig route and what coverage is best suited for that with the talent that he's got and where he can? Because Kyle Whittingham was all of that. Kyle Whittingham was on top of all of that. Kyle Whittingham was a masterful delegator. Kyle Whittingham was a terrible recruiter of quarterbacks. The question is, what kind of coach is Morgan Scalley going to be? And nobody knows that. It's very different to be the defensive coordinator and then take a jump and be a head coach. And I will continue to tell you, and we're going to talk about John Harbaugh getting fired in a bit. And I'll say the same thing about Sean McDermott in Buffalo, or, pick your poison. Defensive guys, in my opinion, rarely win championships. They rarely win, especially in the NFL. You can get more of that, and you can be more of a defensive guy and play at an elite level, Kurt Cignetti, in college. Because when you're beating up on adolescent kids trying to play college football, that's a little more doable. When the quarterback on the other side of the line is constantly in shotgun, it's a little easier to defend. But I am telling you, the best, in my opinion, the best builders of programs from scratch are offensive guys. Because if I can beat you 864 to 863, that's a win. But you still gave up 863 points. Right? Like that's the hard thing. And and Lincoln Riley, yes, absolutely. Lincoln Riley's a terrible example of this argument. My feeling is that in college you can be far more of a defensive guy and win. In the NFL, you cannot. But program builders are rarely defensive guys. So we'll see. We'll see. I think all of these dudes that we've talked about today have very difficult jobs in front of them. Yeah. I think from Morgan Scalley to Kyle Whittingham, Kyle's probably got the easiest rebuild because he's just completely different than what Butterknives was.
Yeah. Or what Harbaugh was.
Oh, look at that. Monty owes a ribeye. Did you bring Teddy a croissant at least? Oh, I could have. Teddy, where's Teddy Wayman these days?
No.
Knocking it down in Draper still? Gotta love
probably.
that.
I mean, honestly, yeah, probably.
Yeah. The Bashir. These are good problems to have as a conference. If we weren't doing things right, then no one would be poaching our coaches. And that's one of my biggest concerns about the Big 12 is I really worry that, and the ACC, we've seen this too, that you are the poaching grounds. You are the hunting grounds, right? When you look at, we talk about this in the G5, how many coaches leave the SEC to go to the American? None. How many quarterbacks leave the SEC to go? They don't. They don't. And it's a really difficult road to hoe. It is. It's tough. Do you remember when Utah joined the Pac-12? It was a coaching staff duct taped together, and Kyle did a great job with it. The jump from the Mountain West to the Big 12 or to the Pac-12 was unbelievably difficult. Unbelievably difficult. Why even have conference title games? Seriously, what's the benefit? I don't see it. You're in such a better place not winning a conference championship and not competing for one. Again, look at Ohio State. Again, I say you get a bye, and you look at Oregon last year. Oh, but the Big Ten's the best conference anybody's ever seen naked. Okay. How'd that work out for Oregon and Ohio State?
We keeping a buck right now, we ass.
It's really tough to get a bye and win a national championship.
Yeah.
Really tough. It is. Oof.
And the numbers bear that out.
It's really, really tough because, again, what are we seeing at Michigan? You just dismantled 3 programs, essentially, to hire one guy at Michigan. I mean, the decimation of you really injured Boise State, Utah State, Weber State, Utah, and BYU. All of them caught strays over Kyle Whittingham. And caught strays, goddamn. They took a slug in the brain pan at BYU with Jay Hill leaving. I mean, you look at what happened at Utah, like, this is the world you live in my opinion, if you are not the Big Ten and you are not the SEC. Because the resources are just different. You know. Thanks for going back to mornings like the good old Yelp days. Exactly right.
Yes.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. I miss the Yelp days some days. The coordinators that get NFL jobs mostly fail, I think, more of a crappy organization than their coaching skills. But Joey, I think the conversation on that, you are either, who's the best head coach in the NFL right now? I think Sean McVay is probably that guy. If you said to me, you can have any coach in the NFL, who do you want? Sean McVay. Because he has it all. He's younger than Andy Reid. He's more dynamic personality-wise. He is a delegator. But you know what else he is? He understands both sides of the football. He's super confident. So he's not worried about handing over play calling, or he's everything that you want. Because when you look at this, it's crappy organization, right? But the head coach, Kyle Whittingham, is a great example of this. Michigan's a terrible organization. Kyle Whittingham can insulate himself from that because he's got his dudes. He's got his system in place. He doesn't need Jabba, the athletic director, to help him. It'd be nice, but the check's already cut for the football department, right? Like, the organization can suck. That's only exacerbated, amplified when Matt Eberflus is your head coach. And then you fire Ebersucks and you hire Ben Johnson, and all of a sudden, right? Like, to me, that's the issue.
Yes.
Saban, Smart, and Chiswick most notable for DCs that won natties as a head coach. But again, that's at the college level. I think it is significantly easier to win a national championship from the defensive side of the ball than it is to win a Super Bowl from the defensive side of the ball. There's only been a few teams in the history of the NFL who have done that. The Chicago Bears, the Super Bowl shuffle Bears, won from the defensive side of the ball. Our ceiling was always the offense, and the defense was world-class. But you look at the quarterbacks, you look at the Chiefs dynasty. Elite quarterback, elite head coach. Right? You start looking at Bill Walsh and Joe Montana. You look at Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Tom Brady was an elite, top of the world, and Josh McDaniels is one of the best offensive minds in football. I am a believer in the NFL. You have to have an elite offensive component to do that. It's why I love the Rams to win the Super Bowl this year. Great defense, and that offense can play football.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely, without a doubt.
It's why the Bears will not win. The Bears are not a Super Bowl contender. They're in the playoffs. They're not a Super Bowl contender.
Agreed.
So, the Bucs with Trent Dilfer, certainly. Game manager, certainly. No doubt about it. I think it is just going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out. Ward the Hutt escaped. He is the last man standing in the whole Michigan scandal. Oh, no, there's an investigation ongoing there. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know that I would necessarily say he escaped. All right. Hour number 2 of the Monty program. Hey, Monty.
Monty?
Let me ask you this. Are you burned out on portal controversies? Because I asked this yesterday, and you guys were all in on the portal and the drama, and these are the sands of the hourglass, or whatever the
College football is burning in the portal.
These are the days of our transfer portal. This Damon Williams thing at Washington is a disgrace to nobody. And I love following it on Twitter, and people are like, oh, college football is broken. No, this is college football, and it's working perfectly well.
It's what you asked for.
This is the system you all wanted. You put it in place. How is it broken? It's working exactly as you designed it to work. Oh, that's right. You're reticent to sue kids, aren't you? Aren't you? So here's my question. Now what? Because this is the second Big Ten NIL disaster. You had what's his name at Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out for what's his name and Wisconsin? Both of them suck. And then now you've got Damon Williams, who, in a really poorly timed announcement, really poorly timed, you were having a memorial on campus for a student athlete who had passed away from cancer. The football team was at the memorial. And so you choose to get on Instagram during the memorial and announce you're leaving, Damon? And it probably was his agent and his agency. Really stupid. Number one. Number two, didn't you just sign a contract with Washington last week? Oh, that's right, you did. Damon Williams signed a new deal at Washington last week. And now, by all accounts, rumors, sources on the interwebs say that Lane Train and LSU, while sitting courtside, I would remind you, that's Sam Levitt and Lane Kiffin and wide receiver guy. And
yeah.
So let me get this right. Dallin Levitt's client is sitting courtside with Lane Train while Damon Williams announces he's leaving Washington with a no contact tag, which means he has a deal in place. And it's widely believed that that deal is with LSU. And you're telling me that this is Damon Williams' fault?
Apparently.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is not Damon's fault. I'm going to say that you're short-sighted on this.
Yeah, I mean, we just vilify these kids, though, right? I mean, we just want to say, oh, well, he's looking for opportunity in the portal. Like people reached out to him. I just think that it's, like he's just chilling right there. Sam Levitt chilling right there, no problem. Like it's really clear. But I just
wait. Sam, what are you looking at there? Coach, I'm looking at the old tweet machine, and Ross Dellinger says that Damon Williams is in the portal, and he's coming here. Yeah. All right, let's pack your shit. Time to go. Enjoy Tennessee. How awkward is that? Like they are looking at a phone together. And some people believe this is while Damon Williams is making his announcement. We'd like to believe that it is.
Yeah, I mean, that would work for the narrative.
So awkward. I don't have a problem with this. I really don't. I think that when you look at what Damon Williams did, is it scumbaggery? It is. Oh, Monty, he signed a contract. He should keep his word. Okay, cool. Can we move past that now into the real world or no?
Yeah, can we just be honest about what's going on in the system right now? Which is, hey, people are reaching out constantly. They're trying to get the best players. Like, it's just what it is.
Damon Williams was a major Lane Kiffin recruit at Ole Miss. And clearly Lane Train didn't get him to Ole Miss. And now he has a chance to get him at LSU. And so he's going to do that. And he's probably paying Damon more than Washington was. Congratulations. This is a system you created.
Yes.
I don't feel bad for DeMond. I don't feel bad for Washington. And Lane Kiffin's done nothing wrong. I'm just going to continue to say it. We can vilify Lane, and you can get upset about this, and you can say Lane Kiffin's a scumbag, and you can say that this is terrible. College football's broken. Well, you broke it. This is exactly what you said you wanted. And now you have it. You don't want it anymore. Well, tough tiddlywinks, bud. I said tiddlywinks.
Tiddlywinks.
I have no problem with this.
Yeah, I think that what we need to figure out is what all had happened with the contract he signed versus like when he was contacted and what the nature of this agreement is. I have a hard time believing DeMond Williams signed a legally binding agreement and then the next day hopped in the portal. I just, that doesn't math. That doesn't add up. And because these kids aren't stupid. You know, these kids understand, okay, well, if I'm going to sign a legally binding agreement and fully commit to Washington for 26, that means I'm done, right? Like I'm not, you know, these conversations are dead. Like we're not talking to Lane or whoever the hell he's been talking to. You know, those conversations end. So I just feel like everyone's just assuming that this kid signed a legally binding agreement and then wanted to leave Washington. And I feel like that's just one side of the story. You have no idea if it's a legally binding agreement. You don't know what the nature of that agreement is. And
but
Washington
isn't this what's his name? Xavier Lucas, right? Xavier Lucas at Miami signed an NIL deal with Wisconsin, then said, all right, see you guys. I'm going to Miami. Did they sue Xavier Lucas? No. Who'd they sue? They sued Miami. And the big question is, okay, what are you going to do about it? I signed a deal and I'm not going to honor it. I'm going to go to LSU. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?
I think that's tough.
What are you going to, you're not going to sue DeMond Williams. You're going to sue his agency. You're going to sue Washington. You're going to sue LSU. You're going to sue the NCAA. You're going to sue, who are you going to sue? Because last time I checked, Xavier Lucas was making plays for Miami's defense. So ultimately, you're just looking to be made whole financially, or because Buddy had a year, right? I mean, he played well. I just, this to me is an absolute nothing. He can do what he wants to do until you make a system that prevents that. Just what it is. This is, in my opinion, this is why you need a rock solid relationship type guy. You can't have, you can always put a system in place. And I think all the numbskulls are going to say, well, you need money, you need them to be employees, or you need collective bargaining. No, you don't. You need relationships. Had you had DeMond Williams and his best interests in mind, this never happens. But the problem is something went wrong. DeMond Williams was out the door probably before the ink was dry.
Probably.
That doesn't happen because Lane Kiffin called and offered more money.
The ink isn't dry yet.
That's the mechanism. How did he leave? Well, Lane Kiffin called and offered him more money. Allegedly. Right? Like, that's the mechanism.
Yeah, and everyone's going to say that Lane's a douchebag and whatever. But
But how did this really happen? What is Jed Fish's culpability? Because there's got to be something there. There's got to be something where DeMond Williams has a fractured relationship, is not happy about something. There's something there. So you can put a CBA in place. Collective bargaining is not going to fix this.
Yeah.
Making kids employees of universities, which I saw I know everything about college football here on Twitter. Oh, make them employees. This won't happen. Okay. It's going to happen. What I think people fail to understand, kids are going to get paid no matter where they go. What they want is to feel wanted. I still maintain the greatness of guys like Nick Saban, the greatness of guys like Kyle Whittingham, the best coaches in college football, Kirby Smart. They make their kids feel special. They make them feel like the best quarterback in the country. Why is Sam Levitt not a quarterback for anybody right now? He's visited everybody. How does Minchie take your job in your spot at Kentucky? Why haven't you signed at LSU? Why are you going to Rocky Top today? Oh, that's right, because you're a flawed dude. Why did Damon Williams get away from Washington? I'm going to put probably 65% of the blame on Washington. There is, I guarantee you, and we may never hear about it, there is a relationship fractured between Damon and somebody of significance at Washington. And it was before he re-signed with Washington that happened.
Right.
I can almost guarantee you that. And we can sit here and we can talk about, hey, got to put the portal in February. Okay, cool. Hey, we got to put signing day, 2 weeks after, 2 weeks before, 2 weeks. We got to do it at the same time as the portal. Okay, cool. That's not going to fix this. You're still going to have kids who are going to sign deals and then get in the portal. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I think you got to do a better job. You got to do a better job communicating. That's what you can do about it. Because, again, Kenny Dillingham hasn't had these issues, right? Other coaches haven't had these issues where their number one quarterback is surprisingly leaving. Like, at least with Kenny, him and Sam were on the same page. I think after Sam got hurt, everybody kind of assumed that, hey, well, Kenny's probably got to go in a different direction. Sam kind of needs to get on the horse here and improve his draft stock. Like, so it makes sense for both sides. And there was communication there, and nobody was shocked, and nobody's signing documents or whatever and then threatening to sue. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we're just real quick to be like, oh, it's all on demand. And I agree, the way his social team handled this release is outrageous. I mean, the fact that you announced this while they're all out here mourning for someone who had passed away, like, that's incredible to me. I mean, that's just the worst of the worst. But I'm not going to sit here and pass judgment completely on Damon's side and his team until we know exactly what it is he had signed, and we know exactly when contact had started and all of that. Because if you're contacting a kid that is already signed, I do have a little bit of an issue with that. But if he hadn't signed and he was in contact and it was open game, no problem, dude. That's the system we've created. That's where we're at. And I just think we all want someone to crucify, but that's just not, you can't be the best right now and play it exactly by the rules. You have to be out there hunting and getting after kids and doing what you have to do.
Because the contract's not worth the paper it's printed on. I mean, you're talking about 18 to 20-year-old kids, and you're expecting them to honor their commitment. And that's why I say you have to go all in on the relationship, the emotion, you have to be close to all of the. And I hate to say this, as a football coach, I'd like to think you're close with all of your players. That's just not reality. See Brian Kelly.
But see this right here, like this is what everyone's doing. Oh, it's called tampering. Actually,
no,
it's not called tampering, dude. It's not, because the reason it's not is because the system allows you to tamper. So it's no longer illegal. It's no longer wrong to contact a kid who's on a different roster who you're interested in. That's not illegal anymore, man.
We're paying Brendan Sorsby $5 million for one season.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, bro. That's what we do.
What I think people don't understand is, unless it's Brendan Sorsby getting $5 million, which I think is outrageous, everybody's offering them around the same amount of money. Quarterbacks are getting $4 to $6 million. So what did Washington offer versus what LSU'd offer? It's probably not that big of a difference. But and I just continue, when you're dating a 5 and an 8 calls you and says, dude, I saw the the bulge in your pants. You're going with the 8, right? Like, that was probably not the best. That Rory, beside the point. You get what I'm saying. Lane Kiffin right now. 2 quarterbacks, Lane Kiffin is
Jesus Christ.
Every quarterback wants to play for him because you look at what he's done with this. You look at Jackson Dart, you look at Trinidad Chambliss. Like, I just don't know how to make people understand that all of us can try to be idyllic. We can all say, well, Monty, they can't be tampering. That's lacking morals. Cool. Make sure you ask for forgiveness in church on Sunday. Thoughts and prayers, buddy. Everybody else is going to be tampering.
I just think we're so committed to being like, oh, Lane Kiffin is a snake and a douchebag.
He's a scumbag, Monty.
He's a terrible guy and tampering this and tampering. Like, dude, stop. Tampering inherently has this negative connotation, dude. If you want to die on the tampering hill, knock yourself the hell out, dude. But I don't have a problem. Listen, again, we had great conversations last hour about Morgan Scalley and the job that he's going to do. If bro isn't out tampering, if bro isn't out, reaching out to kids and recruiting outside of, Houston, because that's apparently where his hotbed is now. If you're not out doing things, I don't want you as my head coach. And what it tells me is that Lane Kiffin obviously knows how to recruit, knows how to put a roster together, knows how to relate to kids, knows how to get them to commit to his program. And you all have a problem with that because he's busy beating your ass at Ole Miss. His team is legitimately national championship good. He ain't even there anymore. That's how good that team is, dude. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and vilify the guy.
I think that when you look, especially quarterbacks want to play for gurus. And if you think about who the best quarterback coaches in the country are, Lane Kiffin's got to be there. Lincoln's got to be there.
Ryan Day's got to be there.
Ryan Day has to be. Sark's got to be there. Steve Sarkisian.
I know you're going to disagree, but Dan's putting guys in the NFL too.
Shut up, Jake.
I'd love it to be wider.
Dan Lanning.
Oh, Monty, Dan Lanning. It bends to the left ever so slightly.
You got to get stroked.
And when that thing,
Biologics.
The Dan Lanning left-hand turn, as I call it. Oh, yeah. Oh, Monty.
He's a hoe. I want that known.
It bends left so it misses the vocal cord. Oh man, that is just...
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. I never sucked any ding-dongs.
Dan Lanning's putting guys in the NFL. Will Stein.
Dude, you're such a hater, bro. You are
Dan
such a
Lanning
hater, dude.
is overrated. Dan
Such
Lanning.
a hater, dude.
Overrated. Dan Lanning, overrated. Has 1-0. Dan Lanning. He sucks. Jake loves it. Take it all. He's got no class.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Dude, don't start with me today. Really?
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Arch Manning lost his roommate Parker Livingston to Oklahoma. Yeah,
I saw that.
Relationships.
But Oklahoma tampered to get him too, right? Just so we're all on the same page.
I will just keep going back to the horny James, the semen, right?
Oh, yeah, the semen demon. I got a facility for you. It's called the rectory, boy.
FDR.
It's stuff like this. Okay. How do I put this?
Oh, he don't know nothing.
Do you have to be elite to win a championship? No. Can you be considered elite without winning a championship? No. Can you recruit the best player in the portal with shitty facilities? No. Can you have less than the best facilities and recruit the best player in the portal? Yes. Facilities, and I understand that you are absolutely swole on facilities.
Stay hard.
I mean, that triple pane glass that they have in the FTR, and
the biggest load that we've seen.
The quality of shingles that they use on the practice facility that's blocking the mountains in Utah, unbelievable. Not a single recruit cares about
Monty. Dude, he is going to be recruiting on the new upper deck that's going to block the mountains at Rice Eccles.
Shut up, Jake. Guys, I gotta tell you about the BDSM seating at Rice Eccles. The leather, it's so supple, like Dan's balls.
Like my skin is curling.
I'm just telling you now, facilities, you have to have them. It's not why kids go play football at schools. Most kids want to get paid. Everybody's paying Damon Williams. 3-4 programs have $5 million each for Damon Williams. The head coach that's paying you is as important as how much you're getting paid.
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
It is as simple as that. How Butter Knives got Bryce Underwood and kept him, I have no idea.
Butter Knives.
But he did. He did. The eye patch. I don't have a problem with it, but call it what it is. Tampering. It's not tampering. Funny, the biggest a-hole per Monty is in this chat has a moral code. You do.
But you apply that moral code conveniently to your argument, which is the problem you have in this chat.
Jake, if Dan Lanning makes it move for you, don't let Papa Monty guilt shame you. You be you, buddy. Yeah. Oh, dude. Listen. Boy, we got it. We got it. The 21 times a month, that's a high bar. That's a high bar. And for your sake, I hope you're I hope that you are well hydrated, because 21 times a month, my God.
That's right, T.
Yeah.
A
lot of production happening.
You got to do.
I know.
You got to do what you got to do. Money is a big factor because most teams now have great facilities.
Bro, how do you do this every day, dude? Every day you find a way.
James, facilities are 5th, 6th, 7th.
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
Do you guys understand the again, having a conversation with a guy yesterday about Brendan Sorsby's deal. And Buddy was telling me the reason that he went to Texas Tech so quickly is Texas Tech has a boilerplate contract that includes all of the sponsors and all, because it's not just Brendan Sorsby at Texas Tech isn't getting a check for $5 million. He's also getting a Cadillac Escalade, I think it was, or whatever. You get free Crumble cookies for life. You get free rectal thermometers twice a month. At BYU, you get free Manischewitz once a day, right? Like it's all, that's Jake. That was a Manischewitz joke. Anyway, the point is, it's all in the contract already. So when you're talking about facilities being next to money, no, they're not. Now, does it help to have a trophy case? Yes. But if you don't have trophies to put in the case, you're probably not getting that kid. Right? Because the guy with trophies also has money.
Oh, not to interrupt you. Look who's entered the chat finally. We've been back to mornings, and look who finally decided to show up.
Well.
I knew today would be shitty.
Ooh, we're back from Turks and Caicos. Oh, look at how big it is. I'm a big deal. I went to Turks and Caicos. Tell you something. The villa that we stayed in Turks and Caicos, boys. I love how a dude like this rolls into the chat and he's like, I was sitting back on my villa that was hovering over the ocean. And my 122-pound, 6-foot blonde wife with C cups and I were talking about our frustrations because the Ferrari F80 is in the shop again. And I just am at this point where I you know what? I'm going back to Lamborghini and I've had enough.
You have to check it before you wreck it.
Good to see you, Mayor of Montytown. Always good to see you. Hope the family's well. Jake, the new shelves look sharp. Well, the ones you can see because Jake cut off half the shoes on the other ones. That was so disturbing. Hey, is what it is. Is what it is. Drama must have a villain. We have that in college football. We certainly do.
Facts.
And D-Rock, I'm a little worried. In fact, my heart is a little flutter because Marcus Freeman hasn't been scheduled for interviews in the NFL yet. Marcus Freeman is not interviewing for NFL jobs, and I was really hoping the Baltimore Ravens wanted to hire him.
Suckmyass.com.
I was really hoping.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's working out for you, bro.
I don't think that it is. Welcome to the Nightmare, a member for 29. Monty, let's not forget about those amazing IPFs. That is a must for all players. Don't you know that? It's also as important as cheeseburgers for hungry kids. Look, if we're not doing charity initiatives, to make sure all the kids have cheeseburgers, what's the point? Oak State used to be a fan, but now I sold my soul. I'm admitting that Monty is right. Whoa. But facilities, club and suites keep the...
Mike. The CNS seating angle is my last play here. Can you humor me?
Listen, Mommy. Hey, Mommy. You were right. But...
Here's the big-ass butt.
Yeah, I like a big butt. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, facilities and club suites. How can I spin this into some more bullshit? That keeps the Garf family happy. And if the Garfs are happy, Morgan Scalley's happy. And the new Kia Sorento is $29.95 MSRP, bitches.
CNS seating has nothing to do with recruiting. Nothing.
But Monty,
stop. Just
kiss my butt.
It's okay to just have a massive erection over I imagine that you go full Rory McIlroy every time you drive by like a high school football field and you see that they're like replacing the chain link fence. They're like, oh my God, is that 12 gauge fencing? Oh, they're all in it to win it. And I'm telling you, those 8th graders from Topeka are coming here because look at the quality of that chain link. My God. That's what I imagine you to be. You're the guy that's like, dude, did you see that they put in all new Sloan urinals at Rocktown High School here in Central Texas? Sloan urinals. I mean, they'll never lose another game. That's who you are. Be that guy. Now, listen, Monty.
Hey, Monty, I got to tell you, I was over at TCU the other day getting my 21 times a month in down there under the bleachers. And I probably shouldn't have been there, but I was. And so then I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I was 21. I was at 18 times, so I was almost. My friend. Yeah, home stretch, bruh. Anyway, the point is, I saw them walk by with these new horny frog beer taps, and I said to myself, the sponsors who drink that beer are going to be very happy because the concessionaires who pour the beer are going to be happy. On the 19 times.
That's who you are. Own that. Be that guy. Be that guy. But in all seriousness, if you think that new stitching on the seats in the CNS level is why guys give money, you're crazy. The donors generally, Cody Campbell gives money because he wants to be friends with football players. That'd be my guess. It's awesome. The Monty Show has human mascot James. It really is. D-Rock or Rock and Rant, a member for 17 months. Good to see you. Big game for you guys. Big game for you guys. You know, Sloan Urinals. Yeah, hey, I'm a Cubs season ticket holder. Sloan Urinals, the porcelain pipeline for all recruits.
The porcelain pipeline.
You know, it's not. Let's talk urinals, boys, because listen. I want you to know that it's not the urinal itself. It's that little dot on the back wall of the urinal where you aim the stream. And Preston Stone, look, Preston, I have a Sloan urinal in the rectory. And so, of course, I was meat-gazing on Preston Stone when he was in town. And it was so fun to watch him stand with his joint pointed to the right and the stream like bending around the ethos of awesomeness and hitting that horny frog.
Dilly. All right off the top of my head. I want you to know that. It's a miracle that James sticks around for this abuse. It really, he does it to himself. He's a character on the show, man. You know, movie guy voice. In an ever-changing world where anything can happen, James is the one North Star that will never change. He's a beacon of reality in a world.
In a world where upper decks block mountains.
Luke. Anyway, too much. Yo, Morty and Puffy Vest Guy. Spots, good to see you. Good to see you. James is Oak State James, you guys, honestly, is just quintessential awesomeness on this show. He truly is what all people dream to be.
Yes.
You know, I think there is no question that Oak State James is one of our best listeners, and we appreciate him. Even though he's now TCU Horny Frog James.
And doesn't admit that, but it's obvious.
Who's no longer an Oak State fan.
It's ridiculous.
I'm not even sure how he became. How did Oak State James become a TCU fan?
I personally believe
that
my team sucked.
That's a leading question for you to drop a demon reference in the comments section. You know, so any Utah Tech players in the portal yet? All of them. All of them. You know, can the Garfs give up some Lambos to get an O-line that will keep Dampier upright? They're going to have to replace a lot of O-line talent. You know, Hugh Jazz Gamer. Hugh, good to see you. What is the official urinal cake of the Monty Show?
Hugh Janus.
You know, I have no idea how to answer that. Rock and Rant, congratulations on your win against the Buckeyes in the Cotton Bowl from this Buckeye fan. That is some very, very, very big humility right there. That's huge. I like it.
Huge.
I like it. Way to go. All right, John Harbaugh fired by the Baltimore Ravens. Jake, your level of surprise, seeing as you predicted this back in October, so flowers for you. What was your level of surprise when you saw this come about yesterday?
Well, I wasn't super surprised, obviously. I mean, I do think that the turmoil has been building. and for John and that staff and the team. And I think that this narrative around Lamar Jackson, seemingly not being able to win the big game has been cooking, no doubt. And the question is, who's to blame for that? And clearly the organization is saying John Harbaugh is to blame for that. The reporting is that he was fired specifically because he wouldn't move on from OC Todd Monken, but that the organization obviously wanted to move on from Todd. And so it all comes down to this idea that John Harbaugh seemingly doesn't think that the system is the issue. He thinks that Lamar Jackson is the issue. And I have to say, I do tend to lean towards John. I mean, Lamar's a hell of a quarterback, incredible, like incredibly talented, but there is a specific formula to winning in the playoffs. And I do think that John was never really a guy who enjoyed the process of damage control and controlling the narrative with the media and like playing that game and going around that circus. And he just kind of kept it real. He kept it a buck. And so because he did that, and, he didn't really help the situation or try to. Maybe he was looking to get out on some level. Maybe he was tired of it. I mean, he's been there for 18 seasons, man. It's been a long time. He's done some great things. They've struggled. I do think that the issue is that the Justin Tucker thing happened, and that's not on John, but it was his team. Some responsibility, sure. But this issue with Lamar, I don't know how the Ravens as an organization get by it. It's almost like the Josh Allen conundrum, right? Like Josh Allen's this great quarterback who can't figure out how to beat Patrick Mahomes. Lamar's a great quarterback who can't figure out how to beat Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes when it matters. So I don't know, man. It came down to you missing a kick against the Steelers as to why you got fired. That's the tough part.
I don't think that's the case. I think, and again, I know we have a wide varying level of opinions on why John Harbaugh got fired. I am going to continue to say what I have said from day one. Lamar Jackson that contract got John Harbaugh fired because Lamar Jackson's limitations are not going to change. The ceiling is not raising on Lamar Jackson. That cat is who he is. He doesn't want to practice. He is somebody, in my opinion, that you cannot count on to stand in the pocket and deliver the football. He is not, in my opinion, a franchise carry you to a Super Bowl win quarterback.
Right.
And at some point, that always comes to an end. And Todd Monken, and again, Oak State James is a guy who wanted Todd Monken to be his head coach. Right? I'm not that guy. When you are John Harbaugh, you've had a great run. There is no question, and I'll say the same thing about Jim Harbaugh. You know how to coach ball. You're a bunch of scumbags. That's what it is. You don't, in my opinion, John Harbaugh is a guy who does not surround himself with the best people. And in my opinion, it's why he doesn't often win the biggest games. He's a Super Bowl champion, but how far does that carry you? How far does that carry you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the question for a lot of guys. And I think that it doesn't carry you forever, man. I mean, I think winning a Super Bowl probably buys you another 5 seasons, honestly. Even if 2 of those seasons are ass and 3 of them are good, it gets you another 5 seasons, in my opinion. And then from there, I think your clock is kind of reset, and it's like, all right, it's been 5 years since we won a Super Bowl, man. Like, what are we doing? And in his case, I think it had actually been a little bit longer than that. So I think that, listen, the Ravens are a team that really, with Lamar, should be winning Super Bowls. That's the truth. That's the reality. You have the talent. You just haven't been able to put it together. And, the Eagles figured out how to put it together. The Chiefs figured out how to put it together. And the Ravens haven't. So, I mean, this next hire could potentially make or break Lamar as a Raven. If you do a good job and you hire the right guy and it works out, Lamar's likely a Raven for life. If you do it wrong, he's probably going to see another uniform before it's over. And that would be a shame, in my opinion.
I think when you look at some of these openings, where would you rate the Ravens opening? Is it the best job? If
it's not, it's up there, man. That's a good job.
Yeah. And I'm curious, do they go defense again? Do you, if you're Baltimore, do you hire former Cleveland Brown coach Kevin Stefanski? That's a guy that used to be able to fix quarterbacks. I don't even know. I mean, is there stench on Stefanski? I mean, if I am Stefanski, you're getting hired. I would assume this is the year that Brian Flores gets another gig, right?
Yeah.
I would assume that Clint Kubiak from the Seahawks, their offensive coordinator, is going to get a lot of phone calls. I would assume that. I mean, I just think there's a lot of candidates. Cliff Kingsbury, who mutually parted ways with the Commanders yesterday. I would think that he is one of the top 10 candidates in all the NFL.
Yeah, I just think there's some of these guys that are ready to start winning. You know, they want to get to an organization that knows how to win, because that's the deal in the NFL, man. There's organizations that have a track record of winning. I would categorize the Ravens as that. They definitely have Super Bowl heritage, and they've proven time and time again they can win at the highest level. They haven't in the last 5 years, but that doesn't mean that they can't put that back together, given that they have the right staff and they match make correctly. But I just think that if you're, again, if you're Stefanski or John Harbaugh or Cliffy, you're hell, Mike McCarthy. I mean, you're looking for that right opportunity. And again, it harkens back to the comments Whit made about Michigan. Like, Whit straight up said, like, I wasn't looking for just another job. Like I was willing to take a job where I could go and win a national championship. And it's the same thing for these dudes. John Harbaugh has been around the block. He doesn't need to waste his time with another poorly run organization. So there may be 7 open jobs or whatever, but John's probably only seriously considering maybe 1 or 2 of those.
I mean, if you're John Harbaugh, you would take the New York Giants job, I would think.
I would think.
But you're not going anywhere near Arizona. You're not going anywhere near the Raiders, who are a complete dumpster fire.
Nope.
Those jobs you're not touching those. If you're John Harbaugh, are you going to the Cleveland Browns? You're probably not. I think Mike McCarthy is the perfect hire for the Giants or the Browns. I think
for John, the Giants is probably the best job. For John Harbaugh, the Giants is probably the best opportunity.
It feels like the best opportunity, but if you think about the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, I think you're exactly right that your next coach is going to get to make a decision on Lamar. And I think Joe Brady's probably that guy. Now, is Joe Brady going to leave Buffalo to go to Baltimore? I don't know about all that. I certainly would not if I am like Tennessee. I mean, where are you going if you're Tennessee? Because Cam Ward feels like a bust in Tennessee. It feels like there's something broken there, including his shoulder.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know that I'm ready to say that Cam is a bust yet. I think that the injury is brutal. I think that the Tennessee situation's just always been terrible. I mean, it just has been.
Wait, and when I say bust, his time is going to be short in Tennessee.
And I hope for his sake it is. I hope he gets to a better opportunity, because I do think that kid can play. He can play. He needs some development, but he can play, man. And I think for the Ravens, I actually think that McCarthy would be a great fit for the Ravens. They need someone who can come in and figure that offense out. You need to, you've got a great run game. You've got a great pass game. You've got a quarterback who can run.
You have wide receivers.
You have wide receivers. There's really no reason not to be a prolific offense. But I just, again, look at the contrast in coaching candidates. I mean, you've got a guy in Brian Flores who is an absolute witch of a defensive guy. I mean, just terrorizing quarterbacks and coordinators with his defense. But at the same time, if you're the Ravens, let's say, in my opinion, you need a more offensive-minded head coach. You need someone who has a proven system that Lamar can run. And that's how I'd be going about it. I would be going to Lamar and I'd be saying, hey, man, obviously we're looking for a new head coach. Any thoughts? I'd ask and see which way he's leaning. Because guys like Lamar don't just live their day-to-day life in the offseason not paying attention to who their head coach is going to be. He damn well knows who he'd like his head coach to be. I guarantee you that. So I just think you got to handle it the right way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that I just don't know where he goes. I mean, I can't see
McCarthy?
him going. John Harbaugh. I can't see him going to. I think Mike McCarthy should go to Cleveland. You have a guy like a Brian Flores. He's going to wind up with the Raiders. He'll wind up with Arizona.
Yeah.
The Giants are probably. I mean, you got to call John Harbaugh. He has to interview there.
Well, he'd be the best coach you've had since Coughlin, in my opinion.
You can't hire a young coordinator to be the head coach of the Giants. That is a death sentence.
And I'd also point out the Jason Garrett coming out of the TV booth to be a coach again thing. I that's not real attractive to me. I think that if I'm an organization looking for an opportunity, the stack is obviously John Harbaugh is number one. I think then you're to me, I would have it then Mike McCarthy because he's been in the playoffs more recently. He's shown a bigger picture of success. Then I'd have Stefanski, and then it's probably everybody else after that, just depending on your situation and what you think. But what's difficult is that I would think the Ravens and the Giants are the two juggernauts in terms of competition for who they want. I would think that's that would be the two best jobs open. And obviously, the Ravens don't have access to John Harbaugh, of course. So that's why I say I just think that it's just going to be interesting to see like who pulls the trigger first. Like if John can get a job pretty quick, that's really going to shake things up for the Giants. They're really going to have to be decisive in their action. And again, I'm just going to keep saying it. The Giants front office, dude, your reputation as a front office is not good right now. Like Jackson Dart has been a success, but the day ball handling, everything you did in those draft videos that have circulated, like you need to get this one right. And it needs to be a guy who's won a Super Bowl, and it needs to be a guy who's got proven success. We can't be hiring a guy again, like you can't hire Brian Flores. That doesn't work.
Yeah. I don't know what you do. If you're the Giants, you better go get the best offensive guy you can find. But the other thing is, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, are you going defense or offense?
I personally would go offense, but it would not surprise me if they somehow doubled down on defense.
God, does anybody want the Falcon job? The Titans job? The Raider job, the Browns job, the Cardinals job. Like these guys are always hiring coaches.
Brutal organizations, dude. You're
taking those jobs to get fired. If I'm John Harbaugh, I'm either taking a year off or I'm taking the Giant job. I mean, I don't know what you do. If you're the Atlanta Falcons, what even do you need? What even do you need if you are the Atlanta Falcons? I don't even. What are you fixing first? Like what are you fixing first? You made this huge mistake with Penix. You rework Cousins now. Like
he's gonna leave. Like he's gonna leave.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. What do you? That's a great question. What do you fix first there? I mean, that's a tough one. Because aren't you also?
Aren't you? If you're an organization, aren't you also monitoring Mike Tomlin's availability?
No, I don't think so. You can't live your life that way. I mean, I would think you need an offensive guy, right? I would think that you're going to probably make the mistake of hiring a coordinator. So a guy like a Clint Kubiak makes a lot of sense because what he's done with Darnold, that offense. So Clint Kubiak makes a lot of sense, I would think. But I think it's awfully difficult to look at their numbers. I'm looking at their numbers. Their offensive numbers are terrible. They're terrible. I mean, Oh my, Michael Penix is not a good quarterback. Holy cow.
Hey, I know you're going to find this hard to believe. Left-handed quarterback is struggling.
I don't even know what you do with the Falcons. I would not take the Falcons job ever.
I'd rather be a coordinator than take the Falcons job, without a doubt.
I mean, that is, yeah. If I'm the Falcons, I'm fixing the books and getting the trenches fixed. I'm going to try and get a Ben Johnson type guy that can work with big Penix energy. And I think that's why Clint Kubiak makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. A head coach who is not in high demand is willing to take a job with one of the crappy teams with bad ownership. Well, and Brian Flores comes to mind. I think Brian's going to interview for a lot. He has to get a job. I think this cycle, Brian Flores has to get a job or he likely won't be a head coach again, in my opinion. And you better hope he's better, right, than he was last time. If available, if they somehow turn and then around and they can be a better, you can always use a stepping stone, I guess, but that's so tough. That's so tough. Belichick wants the Falcons job, right? Or is he a woman scorned? Well,
yeah, I'm not talking about that.
I don't think he'll ever coach in the NFL again.
Yeah.
Who would be the best fit for the Falcons? I think it's Clint Kubiak. I don't think a veteran coach is going to put up with what they've had to put up with in Atlanta. You drafted Penix at the worst time. At the worst time. Nick says nobody in their right mind should take the Raider job unless the money is hard to walk away from. Well, and you've got Tom Brady leading that search allegedly. So, if Flores really wants a head coaching job, he will pinch his nose and go to a stinky team like the Raiders or Cardinals. He seems like a fit for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So, the eye patch. Lamar's window is closing quick, so it better be a home run higher in Baltimore. So I think I'm really surprised. There must be a huge fracture between John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Has to be. Not being a fan, look at Ward's stats and trend later in the season. Definitely not a bust. He's not a bust.
He just hasn't quite hit yet, but I think most of that is because of Tennessee. And again, it's we just have to be willing to say, like, they've had quarterbacks, man. They've wasted quarterbacks, and he's the next guy in line. And again, I do think the hotly contended question of, like, hey, like, who's the worst organization in the NFL? Tennessee's in that conversation, man. I mean, obviously they're not the worst right now with what the Jets did this year, but they're always around. They're always in that conversation. So I just think it's not. I don't think Monty was saying Cam is a complete bust as a quarterback the way JJ. Like, I think JJ is a complete bust, utter bust. Like, he's the problem, not the Vikings.
Yeah, he's done.
So I just, like, if Cam Ward was in JJ's shoes, I think Cam Ward would be competing for Rookie of the Year, man. I think that he would have been in a phenomenal spot. He would have been exceeding. They would have been in a much better place. He's got a big arm. He's got good instincts. Yes, you need to develop him into a more ball secure quarterback, but I like his frame, like the body he's got to work with. I love his intelligence. Like, he's a good quarterback. He can play. And I think most people agree with that. The only question is, how does he get out of that crap situation?
Why did you fire Mike Vrabel?
No idea.
I'll just keep asking.
Because all he's done is taken a new team to the playoffs, dude. Like, with a young quarterback.
Why did you fire Mike Vrabel? Like, what? That was such a bad decision. I think Cam, one, the injury sucks. Two, he's got to become a more accurate passer. The guy can't hit water from a boat. But he is a guy that's got potential. He needs somebody to crawl up his ass and develop him. His footwork sucks too. Like,
Janus.
He needs Ben Johnson. He needs the Caleb Ben Johnson thing. Right? Like, it is, depends on who the Falcons get as GM will dictate who coaches the Falcons next year. Well, what you're seeing is you are not waiting to hire GMs. Like, Matt Ryan's probably going to run football ops for the Falcons here. You're going to hire a coach before you hire him. You cannot wait because you have to get the best candidate you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
So, and then that coach is going to have a big say in who the general manager is. So that seems to be the new trend. I'm interested. Mike McCarthy's the best available quarterback, I think, for a coach.
Yeah, and I don't love that. I don't love that flow. Because I agree, it is kind of the new trend. Like hire your head coach first and then do the GM. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that there's three levels to an NFL organization, right? You got ownership, you got the front office, and then you've got the coaching staff. Those three levels have to be in alignment on what you're doing for you to be successful. And it should be a top-down flow. Like it should be ownership hired the front office to do a job. The front office's job is to find a head coach who can put together a staff and work with the players to win a Super Bowl, not the other way around. And I just think that bad organizations try to reinvent the wheel versus just saying like, yeah, well, man, Kansas City is really good because they've got an elite head coach in Andy Reid. You've got an elite front office operator, and ownership is willing to fund the machine, water the plant. That's why they're good. Now they're not good this year, but they've been really good, obviously. So I don't know, man. That's why I always say when we talk NFL, especially right after the season ended and dudes are getting fired and there's all this change happening. It's funny how it's the same teams every single year. The same teams doing the same things. Oh, Kansas City struggled. Yeah, they're not firing anybody. They're focused on their personnel. They're going to retool. They're going to reload that thing. Oh, but the Jets suck. They are. I can't remember the stat. Might have been the first team ever, like the first team in however long to not have a defensive interception for the entire season. Like you're a terrible team. And it's not a surprise because you thought hiring Aaron Glenn was a good idea. A guy who's never been a head coach. Where have we seen this before? So I just think it's not that difficult, bro.
The Jets are an absolute disaster.
Like if you're a 4-win team in the NFL and you fired your head coach, the answer is not, hey, let's go get Buddy the coordinator who is on a AFC or NFC championship team. That's not the play. The play is, hey, like find a guy who, if it's going to be a coordinator, he had better been a coordinator for like 10, 12 years. Better been a guy that had been in the cycle before and turned jobs down and like is like Ben Johnson is an outlier to me. Great hire, outlier though. Most coordinators who take head coaching jobs don't wind up being successful because they're used to being coordinators. They're not used to managing the media, managing the GM, managing the play. Like they're just not equipped to do it. So that's why I say if the Cardinals, as an example, or the Raiders or any of these ass organizations go out and hire a coordinator, you're just telling me you don't care enough to pay a legitimate candidate. And I'm not sorry you're losing. I'm not.
Yeah. And I think that's very true. I just think it's so difficult. It's so difficult. Yeah. The best owners are the guys that fund the franchise and get out of the way. Get the out of the way.
Yes.
Bad owners treat their franchises like they're playing Madden franchise mode.
Jerry.
Yeah. The Jets could hire Phil Jackson and they still suck from the end up time. They need Bavakwa. They need to gut everything in that organization. They really do. Rex Ryan was the last coach the Jets had that had the last coach the Jets have had that made them relevant. Yes.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns. Franchise mode. Deshaun Watson is such a tremendous mistake. Tremendous.
Which they don't seem to agree with, which is incredible. Like, how do you, if you're in that building, how do you not see that that's the biggest mistake you've ever made, dude? Yep. Like, it's amazing.
Totally agree. Hour number 3 of the Monty Show. Let's come back and reset it all. Utah versus BYU. Morgan Scalley versus Witt. Damon Williams versus Washington. It's all straight ahead after this from the Advocates.
Injured in an accident? You may be entitled to a bigger settlement, up to 3.5 times bigger. Your initial consultation is 100% free, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. No matter the accident, we are here to help. The Advocates will fight for you because you deserve clarity, you deserve justice, you deserve guidance, you deserve an advocate. Contact us today.
The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Clear, risk-free advice. That's what you get from the Advocates. And I will continue to tell you that when you get in a car accident, it is one of the worst days of your life. It happens every day in this country. Whether you see it or you don't, it's one of the most traumatic things that can happen to you. Trust me, I have been there. I have totaled a car, and it is terrifying. That moment is just the end of the world. And you need, in that moment, clear, risk-free advice from somebody who understands where you are, how you feel, how that accident made you feel. That's what you get with the Advocates. They're not only the insurance industry experts. They know how to fight the insurance companies. They've fought those fights. They've won those fights. But they understand that car accidents are a 24/7, 365-day-a-year business. You can't plan them. You can't schedule them. Unfortunately, you can't avoid them. But what you can do is hand the claims process to the Advocates. Talk to the Advocates. If you don't have a case, trust me, they're going to tell you that. But it's not your fault Buddy was on his phone while he was driving a big rig. It's not his fault that guy ran that red light or was yelling at his friends in the car or listening to loud music. You didn't deserve that accident, but you do deserve an advocate. 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. And the best part is it will not cost you a dime. Hello, Taylor Smith. Good to see you. Rex McFooty Ryan had his own issue at the Jets. Yes, he did. I agree with that. All right, let's restart the show. We started today talking about the truth behind Kyle Whittingham leaving Utah in a really interesting interview on the Rich Eisen show. Did Kyle Whittingham say he was talking to Michigan before he resigned at Utah?
Were you reaching out to Michigan at that point?
You know what? I don't know what the first contact was through my agent. And so it was shortly thereafter when I stepped down that he said, "Hey, do you have interest in Michigan?" And I said, "Who wouldn't? I mean, it's the top 5 job in the country." And really you can count on one hand the number of schools that I would have been interested in, because I was not completely bent and determined that, hey, I got to keep coaching, but for the right situation, I was more than willing to listen. And this is absolutely the right situation here.
Why do you think? Why is it a right situation?
Michigan. It's Michigan. Like I said, a top 5 job, excellent athletes, phenomenal tradition, resources. You got it all here.
I think that's what he said. And I love Kyle. I think you guys know that if you've watched this show for any amount of time, I love Kyle Whittingham. I believe he just said he was talking to Michigan, or his agent was talking to Michigan before he left Utah. And the first thing that comes to mind in that scenario is, what would have happened if he had not left Utah? Right? But I don't know, this whole idea that Kyle Whittingham was wronged by the University of Utah. He was certainly not forced out at Utah. But I think Kyle Whittingham wasn't ready to stop coaching. And if this story is true, that boosters were threatening to withhold their contributions unless Morgan Scalley was elevated to the head coaching position. And for those of you who know, Morgan Scalley's grandmother was married into the Garf family. Ken Garf Auto is a massive, massive supporter of Utah athletics, including Utah football. I have a hard time believing the Garf family would put themselves in that position. Could I see a scenario where Morgan Scalley at a barbecue voiced some frustrations while he was flipping the ribs on the Traeger? Sure, I could. I don't believe that Kyle Whittingham was forced out at Utah. What I do know is this is a terrible way for Morgan Scalley to start his run, to start building his legacy as a head coach.
I have to be me as much as and there are so many things from Kyle's tenure that I will never change. But I'm different than Kyle, and I have to be me with my personality, and there's things that will change. But having said that, there's a reason this place has been successful.
And it's Kyle Whittingham, right? And I'll just say again, I understand the press conference for Morgan Scalley. A Holly Rowe, no follow-up softball question interview was completely unnecessary. This was a mistake, in my opinion, because what you had was Morgan Scalley sitting on a stage trying to tell people that he's qualified to be the head coach at the University of Utah.
Well, Morgan's only been at Utah. He hasn't experienced anything else. And I say, no, that's not right. I've been all over the country. I've sat next to Nick Saban as he asked me about Mike Leach and how we defended Mike Leach when Mike was coming from the Pac-12 to the SEC at Mississippi State. I've sat with Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning when they were at Georgia. We've had Brent Venables come to us. I'm always on the hunt for better ways to do things and improve. And I don't think you have to go, spend a year someplace else to figure out that what you're doing is good or bad. As long as you're a great student and you're always finding ways to learn, I don't think you have to leave. I know you don't have to leave. And now I can sit in a parent's home and I can sit in front of recruits and say, I'm not going anywhere, and they can believe it.
I hate this. I hate it. And I'm not saying that he's wrong, but why are we having Morgan Scalley sell himself to who I'm not sure, recruits, sponsors? I have no idea. But in my opinion, you got to stop talking about this now. You got to stop talking about it. You need to start building a program because you're building from the ground up. Utah football is completely different. And if you're upset with Kyle Whittingham because he took all your assistants, that's a you thing. Morgan Scalley's your guy. Let him build a network. Let him build a staff. I just hate the way this feels in totality. And I feel like Morgan, Kyle, Utah, they all deserve better.
Yeah, I think that I think that Witt is he made the decision he made, and I maintain that he's been looking for an opportunity, the right opportunity for some time. But I do think that people, the perception that Morgan Scalley is just going to come in and Utah is going to be the same, I think is unfounded. I think it's misguided. I think that Utah football doesn't know what they are going to be. I think the baseline is a really good defense and potentially an offense that struggles. More of the same in terms of build of a team, but you're just not winning as much as you were. That I think that there's a really high chance that that's what we see in season one when he's trying to build this team, and I think that the Holly Rowe interview, number one, again, with all due respect, I'm not a huge Holly Rowe guy. I think that she's had a great career. I don't love the style interview. I think, organizations do like the Teresa Gould interview, right? Like you do that style of interview because you're looking to sell something. You're not looking to have a conversation.
Damage control.
Yeah. And so
damage control and spin.
Yeah. And so clearly there's this narrative internally where it's like, hey, we need to get Morgan talking to Holly Rowe about his value and what he brings to the table. And we need to get this guy out in front of the public a little bit so people can get to know him. And it's like, dude, as usual, not unique to Utah, winning cures all. The guy doesn't need to talk. He needs to start getting wins ASAP. And the way you can do that right now is through recruiting. Go out and get talent. Go out and show us that you can build an offense, not just a defense. And that's what's hard for me is I think that Utah fan, not administration, but fan is expecting similar results with Scalley as they got with Witt. And I just think that that's a dangerous game to play in a time when this is your first head coaching gig, man. Again, you're happy to say that you've only been at Utah. You've been at Utah forever. That's one of your strengths. Well, it is a strength, but it also could be a weakness just depending on how it goes. So I don't see it as
between being the driver and the passenger.
Yeah. Like I don't see it as some like, amazing hire for Utah to replace Witt. I understand it was the necessary succession, that this was the plan for some time, but I've been saying it even before Witt left. Like, dude, if Witt leaves and you go to Scalley and you're not seeing the top of the Big 12 inside of 2 seasons, people are going to ask questions, whether that's correct or not. I don't really care.
Whether you
That's
want
what's
to
going
or
to
not.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Agree. I totaled a riding lawnmower. How'd you do that? And almost lost my life over it. I had the VA to take care of medical bills, but I could have used the advocates to get a new riding lawnmower. Don't get a new riding lawnmower.
Hey, Monty, I crashed my John Deere. Can you replace that for me?
Jeez. Rich Eisen is a Michigan man. He's got to love the hire. All the Michigan men do. Well, good luck to Whittingham. I'm sure he will finally make the CFP in Ann Arbor. Okay. I mean,
Hater much?
Tad bit of trivia. Okay. All right, everybody. Go ahead and sit up here. Mike's got some facts. Yeah, turn that up. That bit of trivia, the Gart family was the money backers Wayne's World show back in the day and turned that into 2 movies. I like it. Scalley got a super creepy serial killer mouth and smile.
I didn't want to make it personal.
What is that? What? Wait, what? What?
I have to be me as much as I, and there are so many things from Kyle's tenure that I will never change. But I'm different than Kyle.
My God, now I can't unsee it.
Dude, I'm surprised you didn't see it initially, bro. I intentionally did not bring this up.
Why, Mike? Why?
Mike, I'm on the same page with you, brother.
Well, Morgan's only been at Utah. He hasn't experienced anything else. And
Bro, he's got a huge lower jaw. Why did you make me look at that, dude? I don't want to look at that.
Jeremy Bolton.
I don't want to
Quote,
look at that.
but I'm not Kyle, and he stands over his victims.
Oh my God. Why did you make me see that now Morgan Scalley's a murderer? Allegedly.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck.
Look at his lower jaw. Look how big his lower mouth is.
Well, Morgan's only been at Utah. He hasn't experienced anything else.
Notice
and
he
I
says
say, no, that's
Utah.
not right. You know, I've been all over the country. You know, I've sat next to Nick Saban.
Oh my God. And now I'm watching it like jaw jack. No, dude, no. Dexter Scalley. Why would you say that? Mike? That's very true, though. That, and he does stand over dead bodies. You know, it all goes back to what Two Shakes said about OCs being first-time head coaches in the NFL. It's a whole different ball game being Batman versus Robin. Yes, it is. Yeah, Ted Bundy.
Bro,
you guys know that Ted
dude,
Bundy went to Utah.
Stop, dude. What happened to give Buddy a chance?
And it is Utah. It's not Utah.
Utah.
That's right. You guys remember? Like, do you know a prominent serial killer off the top of your head, Jake? Who's a prominent serial killer?
Not in today's day and age. I mean, obviously, I know Ted Bundy.
Wow. See, now I'm a little older. I'm 40 years old now.
The Night Stalker probably is the only one.
Okay. But if you look at John Wayne Gacy,
before my time.
Wayne Williams, the Atlanta child murders. You look at the Night Stalker. Oh my God. That's
nasty work.
Dude, lock your doors at night, especially in Utah, where Ted Bundy's from. Look at BYU fan pulling Ted Bundy went to the U.
Oh, well, Monty, dude, Ted Bundy's 8th cousin, twice removed, 3 times remarried. Look at him being the coach of Utah now. Isn't this incredible?
Yeah, Ted Bundy's my guy. I was talking to Ted down here the other day. He was telling me all about Morgan Scalley's jaw jacking, baby. Oh, yeah, we got our next guy.
It's just, come on. Why, Mike? You've ruined this, Mike Smith. Dude, John Wayne Gacy was the creepiest of all those dudes. That's a guy that used to dress up as a clown and then murder children. Manson, yeah, although he did not do the killing, JW, Richard Ramirez, for sure. My wife grew up in California. It's a different kind of, Gotta watch some Mindhunter there, J2. Yeah, dude, Mindhunter is a great show. Did you guys see the Pit season 2 is going to debut Thursday? Which I like. Hey, look at yeah.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Yeah, it's Jeremy Bolton.
Headband.
Headband. That's right. Dennis Rader and the big ass Ed Kemper. Dude that played him in Mindhunter show did a killer job. Pun intended. Exactly. Brandon Mindhunter is so good. But that's one of those, you guys, isn't Mindhunter that show? All right, let's switch gears. Let's get into what you're watching on TV because I have a really good, I picked up a new show. Oh yeah, Butts Behind the Couch. How'd they know that Jeffrey Dahmer was a smoker?
They found butts behind the couch.
It's the butts. Okay. Good one. And Teddy was from Washington. The PNW has the record for most accomplished serial killer.
And it doesn't surprise me, bro.
Welcome home. But seriously, what are you guys watching right now? Because I'm super excited about The Pit. I am super excited. Is there anything you are watching in particular right now, Jake?
Yeah, Landman is probably my number one right now. I think Sons of Anarchy, I'm finishing that. That's been pretty good.
What do you know about motorcycles?
Nothing. You want to talk about killing people? What else are we watching? I mean, I just finished Stranger Things last week. That was really good. That was a lot of fun.
You're so passé. Like,
what do you mean?
You watch all of the big shows. You don't find anything for yourself. I'm watching a show called The Good Wife right now.
Okay.
The Good Wife is a good show. Juliana Margulies. Hey, baby. The Good Wife is a good show.
Okay.
I'm into it. Like, yeah, see, like a show like Mobland, which I don't think was mainstream. I think Mobland was very much under the radar.
Well, I turned you on to Mobland.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No,
I watched it first and then told you about it.
Well, you watched it first, but Slow Horses. Everybody's talking about Slow Horses. Yeah, The Good Wife is excellent. I'm a huge fan of The Good Wife. I'm in season 2. The Good Wife is good. Really good. BTK looked exactly like Baylor a serial killer. Sorry. Wow. Baylor catching a stray out of David Persons. I love it. Love Slow Horses. Oldman is next level. I'll have to pick that up.
Yeah.
I have to pick that up. I'm into, The Good Wife's a good show. Jake, that's not your kind of show. That's like I'm watching the Wahlberg Boston Police show. Okay. It's okay. The Clooney Central Intelligence show I watched last year, amazing. There's just a lot of good I'm not the guy that wants to watch Stranger Things. Everybody watches Stranger Things.
Yeah, but I don't care what everyone's watching. I was committed. I mean, I watched all 4 seasons. We watched season 1 together when it came out.
I'm committed.
Yeah.
I'm the Demogorgon. Oh,
yeah.
Who cares? Show sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it since season 1, I don't think. Maybe season 2. I can't remember. It's all right. I'm telling you. Yeah, that's exactly where I got. That's exactly right. Meh. It became
old heads, dude.
You know what? No, but you know what happened? It turned into a t-shirt selling operation.
What do you mean?
They sell merch and they like.
Why do you guys care about all that, man? It's just a show. Like, why? Like, what does that matter?
You millennials. Like, it's just you do you. You have no class. Like, The Pit's a really good show. The Pit is Noah Wyle. I'm telling you, find those under the radar shows. Find those. Right now, I'm going through life regrets of not being a lawyer. Should have been a lawyer, right? I'd win arguments with my wife, which I never do.
Can be.
Nah, dude. You don't, at 53, you don't become a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that I love legal dramas. I love the argument. I love things like The Pit where there's intensity, and I like Stranger Things. That show exists to make everybody exists to make money. That show exists to sell merchant and hats and shut up. It was such a turnoff in Paris to see that whole shopping mall like turned into I understand you have to make money, but it is a turnoff. Yes, looking forward to the new season of The Pit. Probably about the only thing I liked about Pittsburgh. Well, there's that. I've been watching High Potential. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. They're selling out. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Your ER fandom is showing, Marty. Dude, Noah Wiley and Juliana Margulies. Yes. George Clooney. I'd hit that. For sure. Stop. Don't be a jerk. Now you're being a jerk. You're being a jerk.
YouTube TV.
I am not old. The flag is still up the pole every morning. You know, like yeah, boy. Whatever. What are you watching? What is your favorite thing on TV right now? What do you like when you take a break during the day or when you sit down to relax at night?
When I sit down to relax at night, I mean, the football games, the NFL games have been good lately.
Emma Gorgons.
Right. Yeah.
What about the NBA?
I mean, the KD game winner the other night was nice, but I can't say that I'm sitting here spending my evenings watching the NBA because I'm not. Not yet. I'll probably will once football season's over.
So, what if I did? I'd hit that. I did not get into medical shows. The Pit was different in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Stranger Things' initial greatness was the 80s nostalgia. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's the greatest show of all time. I'm saying that I wanted to see it through and it was enjoyable, and now we're on to the next thing. That's it. Like, I'm not all heartbroken that it's over.
So the way I watch TV, like my wife is into Downton Abbey, for instance. We watched the Downton Abbey movie on the plane. To me, that's easy. That's easy consumption. That's what I'm after. Like The Good Wife is easy consumption. I can throw some ground turkey into a bowl with a bag of vegetables. And I am on a ground turkey heater right now. Let's just be honest.
Who knew?
I can throw some mixed vegetables, ground turkey, and watch an episode of The Good Wife. I could. Oh yeah, Landman, of course. Landman is fantastic.
Yeah, I would say that generally Paramount Plus has done really well for me. You know, Landman, Mobland. You know, the line. I love Lioness. Excited for that to come back. Like I think that there's. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're getting soft in your old age, but I enjoy those shows. You know.
Yeah, I just struggle with, like, it's funny. People have been asking me if I'm following this put her in a bikini trend on Twitter, which I think is ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah, asking Grok to put people in bikinis.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of it, frankly. So I don't. I think you guys know I don't just surf Twitter. That's just not my jam.
They're doing, by the way, just for transparency, they're asking Grok to do all kinds of things. that's just the headliner. I mean, there's a million different things people ask Grok to do.
Knock yourselves out. Like, that's not entertainment to me. And I've really tried to stop just brain melting on social. Right? It's been nice the last 2 weeks. When we were in Europe, I was doing no scrolling. And it's been nice. I don't like social media. And the whole, I really struggle with what is good content, what makes content. You know, but it's just when we look at TV now, I think we all watch TV differently. And I really hope that at some point we get a change on how we, and I don't even know the right way to say it. I hope we get an all-encompassing package. Now, ask your mom. I have an all-encompassing package.
Right.
But I hope for TV watching at some point we get an all-encompassing package, because I'm a little burned out on what app do I have to open to watch this versus that. And, I can get it like The Good Wife. I originally tripped and fell into The Good Wife on Prime Video, but it's a Paramount thing. right? Like it's just so, I will maintain it is so frustrating to me, the BS we have to put up with to watch TV. And again, it's what we all wanted. And now we've all got it, and it sucks.
It does. I mean, I like, I'm definitely going to be canceling YouTube TV here pretty quick once, probably once the CFP is over, because I don't want to have to play the casting to the TV game and all that. I mean, I suppose I could get it through the ESPN app.
The VPN is undefeated.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you now. That's the best thing you've ever had me do.
Mm-hmm.
Having a VPN on your computer, not even for watching content, but just in general, is undefeated.
Why do you say?
Because you can do anything from anywhere. It is, I understand hackers and terrorism now. Like you can do things and nobody has any idea.
Because it's illegal.
Nobody has any idea. But Monty, you realize that legal TV shows have no connection to actual practice of law. No, of course not. But we romanticize the things we never did. This is going back and wondering if you and your high school girlfriend, if you were still smashing, if you'd be madly in love.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
Well, of course you wouldn't. But I know that if I'd have been a lawyer, I would be probably blind, because all you do is read small print and you're almost never in court. I'd probably win. What did they say in A Few Good Men? I'd probably win another set of steak knives for settling everything. Right? I mean, it's the we romanticize what we never did. And it's why I talk a lot about on this show about don't have regrets. Your regret shouldn't be failure. Your regret should be the never tried.
Yeah.
Right? That's the difference.
Yes.
Mike, I was in the oil and gas industry for over 30 years, and Landman is so close to the real thing I've seen about the industry. Yeah, Landman's great.
And Billy Bob crushes it, dude. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, the mayor of Kingstown is coming to an end. I'm so far out of it. Again, another show. I loved the first 3 seasons of it. It's so violent for no reason that I just can't.
But why do you say no reason? Like, that's the nature of some of the shows. The violence is part of the show.
I get it. I understand it. But the atrocities in the prison riots alone on Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Mayor of Kingstown is another level of violence. I mean, that's definitely top end.
But Lioness as well.
But that's different to me. That's military. That's not street violence.
Yeah. There is, in Lioness, there is so much unneeded sex and violence. I don't mind shows where, like, Landman. Dude, you want to show me a hot girl or a hot girl's chest? Okay, I'm here for it. But can we not do it just to do it so that people will be like, oh, there's nudity on that show, I'm going to watch? That's what it feels like.
I just think you're missing the point, dude. That's not the point, just to do it. That's their role on the show. They are the, hey, Billy Bob's been in his F-350 for like 5 hours on the show. We need to spice this up a little bit and get homegirl to FaceTime him in a bikini. Like that's, and again, that's Taylor Sheridan's calling card. I mean, that's what dude does on his shows. So,
Jake, I want to say this is Jay Quellen.
Jay Quellen.
Jay Quellen on TikTok.
Jay Quellen.
It says 2 things. You're sort of a hypocrite because you say you don't watch porn, but then you watch Landman. Is Landman pornography?
No, it's not. Nope. It is not. Sexualizing female characters through the role they play? Yes. Pornography? No.
Because again, I'm a big believer that pornography is a great destroyer of men. Please don't take pornography. Don't allow your sons, your daughters. I think it's horrible for our brains. Also, I started Zepbound because of you. I am on my 5th week. Do you recommend leaving 2.5? Listen, that's a choice. I every 4th week until I'm at 7.5. Zepbound is a weight loss injection. It's a GLP-1 and it works phenomenally. The way that Zepbound works is you start on a starter dose a 2.5 to see what your side effects and how you react to it. My wife's never left the 2.5, and she's losing tons of weight. Some people don't respond to the 2.5. You don't start losing weight till you get to the 5.0. Every fourth week, I went 4 weeks on 2.5, 4 weeks on 5.0, and now I am 6 weeks, I think, on 7.5. I will tell you, I am really struggling with food noise on 7.5. It's why I've stopped. I don't buy any snack food. The snack food in my house is red grapes or protein bars. I do because the 7.5 has not helped me with food noise at all. On 5.0, I had zero food noise, none. 7.5, I've got food noise all the time. But what I would tell you about moving up on Zepbound is the side effects for me, I haven't had side effects. Though number one is it changes the way you poop. People tell you it's constipation, but I probably poop twice a week. It's the reality of it. I've also lost, as of this morning, I think I've lost 62 pounds. So there's a give and take, but I don't have nausea. I don't have acid reflux. I'm not having trouble sleeping. Although since I got back from Europe, I'm waking up at 2:25 on the dot every day.
Yeah.
Cannot
I've experienced some of that too.
But what I would tell you is that I'm a big believer in Zepbound. It's done wonders for me. I also have completely changed the way I eat. I just don't eat very much anymore on most days. I'm not a big breakfast eater. I've been trying to eat like whole grain toast to get fiber in the morning. But other than that, I really don't eat until about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. When I don't measure my food anymore. But I have a whole bag of frozen vegetables and ground turkey pretty much every day for lunch. My wife made some Instapot chicken last night that I'm sure I'll wreck today because her Instapot chicken's remarkable.
You don't have an Instapot? Highly recommended, dude. It's such a good tool to have.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
It's wild. But I will tell you the things that really help me are a lot more fruits and vegetables. Bananas are really important. Blueberries. I take my creatine in my supplements every day. I'm a big believer in that. But I would tell you, if you want to move up on Zepbound, talk to your doctor. Because the only reason to move up is if you're not losing weight or if you have a lot of food noise. Which means, hey, I'm hungry or I'm thinking about food or I can't stop eating or, is what it is. Welcome back, gents. Hello, gents. Welcome back. Did you try to make the beef eaters laugh at the Castle of London? No. I was only in London for 4 days, and I didn't do the beef eaters. We went and saw them last time we were in London. Looking slim, Monty. Jake, hope you and Dan Lanning are doing good in Oregon. Bear down.
Thanks,
the Zepbound's been great for me, man. Like I'm very happy. I've lost, I'm pretty much, man, I think I have lost 12 inches around my waist. Pant size wise.
Can you measure it?
I was in a 4XL t-shirt. I'm in a 2XL t-shirt now. Pretty much. All of my vests. I have this big Columbia down vest that now fits great. Like it's great. And I don't have sciatic anymore. I feel great. I feel great. No more oats and fruit in the morning. No, I just couldn't eat it. The thing that I struggled with my oatmeal in the morning, I make it and then I eat. I just can't eat all of it. Like even half a cup, I cannot get through half a cup of oats. I'm just not ready to eat in the morning. I don't know how you explain it, but on Zepbound, I am just not ready to eat in the morning. I miss the fiber, frankly, from the oats. I mean, oats, I think, are really important. Really, really important. The fiber is really important. But, You know what, man? I think Zepbound is a revelation. And if you're considering it, I would encourage you to do it. Talk to your doc. It's not going to be covered by most people's insurance. It's just the reality of our insurance industry. Our healthcare is what it is, but talk to your doctors about it. Monty, how many passengers on the plane took off their shoes and walked around with their socks? I took off one shoe. I don't think I ever walked around without shoes. That's gross.
Yeah.
But
I don't understand people who go to the bathroom in socks, dude. Don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I think the crazy thing this time around was we had a lot of screaming children and a lot of sick people. And my wife wound up getting terribly sick. And I think it's from the plane. There was a lady sitting behind us with a hacking cough. Like airplane etiquette is ridiculous. Like if your kid is sick, I understand it. You're going to travel. You've either got to wear a mask or wait until you're not sick. It's ridiculous how many people had hacking coughs and they weren't covering their mouths. It's a basic human decency. Not doing it. Not doing it. People not understanding that you're not the only person on the plane. Why are you yelling?
I just can't explain it, dude. I don't get people who do that.
Why are you yelling? Right? I'll never understand people who have their kids and their kids are yelling and screaming and crying, and like you have to have some respect for the impact you are having on the people around you. We're on a 10-hour flight to Paris, and the guy behind us, we're trying to sleep because we're landing in the morning, and this guy's banging on our seats. He pulled my hair. I think he pulled my wife's hair, banging on our seats. He's wearing headphones, listening to something and talking really loud. Everybody's asleep around you, jackwagon. Like,
yeah.
You know, getting on a vacation is suck a beating. What? Is such a beating. Just can't enjoy the full vacation when you're feeling miserable. Getting sick on a bit. Yeah. My wife was fine. Probably the last 3 days she got sick. She got a cough. It was in her lungs. Came back, took some antibiotics, and she seems to be over it now. But yeah, it was not good. And it was really cold in Europe. If you're paying attention to the news, you know this was the coldest December France has ever had. It is snowing in Paris and London. Like, what is
coronavirus?
What are we doing? What is this weather? You know, like it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I have a cold and have to go to the store, so I put on the hated mask so I didn't get other people sick. It sucks wearing a mask. I get a headache from wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But you either are doing it to protect yourself and to protect others. And it sucks. Congratulations, Monty. I lost 100 pounds with no meds, but then again, I did have open heart surgery. So you're doing it the easier way for sure. Wow, dude. Glad you're alive. That's why I didn't do it because I was unhealthy. And a lot of people hit me on this. There's a couple of things I'll say about weight loss. I don't see the weight loss. I really struggle with it. I really struggle with body image. I don't think I look altogether thinner. I know that I do. I like the photos from Paris. I can see it in the pictures. But it really is a mental battle. It really is a mental battle. I think in this day and age, the way our food is prepared and our lack of discipline, you need help. The number one thing I say about Zepbound is it is anything but an easy button. As I get my notification that my Zepbound's being shipped today, it's anything but an easy button, because discipline's not going to help you lose weight. In our society, the way things are built, the way we live our lives now, discipline's not even half of the battle. You need help. I think the ingredients in our food, the amount of artificial sweeteners, I think sugar is far more of a problem than fat. I think sugar is the death of humanity. And artificial sweeteners I think they are the death of humanity. I'm a
feel like we might have lost Monty. Let's see here. We are in the upside down. He is frozen. Yeah, Mike, I think there's a lot of supplements, a lot of things that you can do, man. I think it's Zepbound is cash. Zepbound is hi, friend. Zepbound is it works really well. It absolutely makes a difference. I think it makes it easier for you to do the things that you want to do. At the same time, though, it changes like for some people, it changes social dynamics. Like you go to dinner, but you're not really hungry, struggle to eat. Like it's just a weird. It works really well. It's very effective, but it's different for everybody. Absolutely different for everybody. Odd about the same time the last couple of days, Monty is frozen up. Something to look into. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I think that we're definitely working on technical issues. There are definitely some things that we're troubleshooting. Don't know what the deal is. Monty has great internet. It's clearly, in my opinion, a latency issue with Google Chrome. So we're just working on things. So, well, hello, hi.
What was that?
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know, bro. No idea.
Cannot. That is the.
You just get bounced?
Yeah.
It just kicked you out?
Yes. And you know what the funny thing is? It's the exact same time today as it was yesterday.
That's so funny. Mike is saying the same thing. We were just talking about that. It's the same time. So I don't know what the deal is.
Jeez. Yeah. Welcome back to the Monty Show, Monty. I've had no internet issues all day.
Yeah.
Jake's the one that's been blinking. I don't even know what you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Anyway. All right. There you have it. The Monty Show, as always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Guys, if you've been in an accident, don't hesitate. Car accidents are the worst. But if you got hurt at work, if you had a slip and fall in all these icy, snowy, rainy conditions, the Advocates are waiting to assist you. They fought the fight you're about to fight with your insurance company, and they've won. Get clear, risk-free advice 24/7, 365. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.